What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. We're going to be a little delayed on the stream. It don't matter though. But how's everybody doing? I'm having a lovely night. I went and I'm just going to tell you now. I went and seen the new Star Wars movie. Really good. You must see it. It's worth the money to go see it in the theater. But that's all I'll say about it right now. Everybody dies. So
I knew it. Fuck.
Just kidding. It is. It's very good though.
As long as Rose lives, that's all I care about.
As long as
Rose.
Well,
I hope she gets killed by a meteor shower.
Well, I will say this: she's not in the movie much. She's only in like 10 minutes of the movie. That's it. She's not in it very much at all.
You didn't see a Hobbit.
We did. Hobbit. Oh, the Monahan.
Yeah.
He's in the movie. He's in the movie like 5 minutes. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. So we got some stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about TLC. We're going to talk about Raw. We're going to talk the usual stuff, the shows. We're going to talk about AEW. We're going to talk about NXT. We're going to talk about things that are happening on Twitter. The Edge thing. The botch thing that happened Wednesday night. We're going to talk about the ratings. And we're going to talk about the Raw and SmackDown ratings too, because I really want to make a point. And then we're going to talk about Edge. Apparently he's back in the news again. If there's anything else that anybody wants to talk about, go ahead and put it in the chat. Or if any of you guys that are here in the show with us, don't be afraid to talk to us about it. I know that Gina is not here. So I don't know if there's anything going on in New Japan recently. I know they're getting ready. It's 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. Wrestle Kingdom is 2 weeks away, and I probably will be watching it the next day and the next day after that. But yeah, so. But other than that, I have Basement, Ronnie, and Trek with us. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, man.
Doing okay.
Good.
I'm fucking living off like zero sleep and tons of work, and I'm ready to fucking bust a nut.
Sometimes that happens. So yeah, it's what do you guys want to start off with? You want to start off with the news, or you want to start off with the show?
I feel like maybe you want to go in like chronological order of how things happen. Like kill TLC first because.
Yeah, let's kill TLC. We'll just talk about TLC. I'm not going to review every fucking match because there really is nothing to review. About the only good match on this fucking show was Aleister Black and fucking Buddy Murphy. Everything else on the show, you could take a fucking broomstick with barbed wire on the end of it and shove it up my ass, because that's how I felt watching the fucking show. It was trash. It was complete and utter trash. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. The worst pay-per-view of 2019.
Agree wholeheartedly. You know, one of the most divisive things that I saw on Twitter about this was the first match, the tag team ladder match. It seems like most people liked it.
I don't know why. It
had a good amount. Like the people involved were good, but they just underperformed. It was just slow as fuck. Some brutal spots, but everything was like taking 10 years to get to.
It was going through the motion spots kind of fucking match. It didn't seem like any of them really wanted to fucking be out there doing this shit. whatever.
There was
it's
no
fine.
actual like wrestling between the spots. The thing that like the glue that holds a match together and makes it good, that match did not have. So we just went from rough spot to rough spot, and in the end, it just ended.
Yep. The second match that kicked off the show because it got everybody excited. I enjoyed the match, but yeah, main event was women.
Horrendous.
I'm gonna say this now. I'm done with the women main eventing. It's 2 times now they've main evented pay-per-views and they have fucked up. I don't know what it is, if they're not ready for it or if they're just so anxious to make something happen that they fuck up. It just seemed like that was what was going on. And I don't even want to fucking say. The fucking Bray Wyatt fucking thing, I don't care. I didn't care. The guy's dead. Can we stop thinking that he's the best thing? People are still saying he's the best thing in fucking wrestling today. I'm like, what the fuck are you people fucking smoking? He is not the best thing in wrestling today. You want to know what the best thing in wrestling is right now? What's happening on NXT? Adam Cole and the storyline that he has going right now is the best thing in wrestling right now. Hands fucking down. Besides Chris Jericho and his 20-minute promos, which we'll get into, is about the only good thing wrestling has right now.
You do realize to keep Bray Wyatt from falling off track because they don't know what they're doing with him, they had to basically turn Daniel Bryan back into the version of him everyone was in love with. Mm-hmm. And though you might look at Bray Wyatt as being the catalyst, there was people saying that this match should have ended TLC because of the twist of him coming back. But like, that was it really a twist? It was like the writing was on the wall. The guy fucking shaved his head under the ring. What do you think he's gonna come back fucking any different than what he looked like?
But the thing is the crowd was essentially dead. There was no fucking reaction. Not the reaction that people were thinking was going to take place, because that didn't happen. I seen a crowd just go, yes, 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 just like fucking robot. It was monotone.
I feel like it would have helped if the match was fucking not a flaming piece of fucking smegma. No, that match was trash.
Yeah, the whole pay-per-view was shit.
It was. I mean, okay, so after we watched it, and I'm like, I didn't even notice Kairi Sane staggering around or whatever people were saying. I just noticed it wasn't just her. Everybody was missing everyone looked out of whack, like they'd never wrestled each other ever before in their lives. And I couldn't pick out Kairi Sane.
Because of her injury. Because I don't think they knew. I think they knew, but I don't think they knew what to do to keep the match going, to avoid her getting further injured.
Well, because did they know that she was concussed? I don't think that they knew she was concussed.
Well, you could tell that one with the spear with Charlotte. I mean, it was horrible, but I think she was trying to protect her from hitting her head again by going down. And then, of course, where there was different segments where they were pinning up on Twitter saying, okay, well, this is what caused it, and this was possibly what caused it.
Okay.
But there were so many different things that were posted. It could have happened anywhere and any time. Yes. But it was just everybody, I guess, just didn't know how to handle her. And it was mainly a lot of the stuff was with her. Right. And it was just like they should have kind of just let her go to the wayside, let her be checked on, and they could have focused on the 3 of them for a bit, but they tried to do that, and it still looked like Bob had said, miscombobulated and all, and everybody just kind of looked like it was their first time out there.
It's 100% on WWE. 100% on them. If they know she's not, like, they have 4 people in that match. One of them goes down. You still have 3 viable people to work with. This is where, when an injury happens, you have to act on. This is why when you don't have ring leadership, when you don't have somebody in there that can take the reins and say this, like Jericho, when fucking Neville hurt himself, he took over, and that's the ring leadership. And he started a promo. Remember when Neville like broke his leg or whatever? Mm-hmm. And they called the match, but they're like, we still have like 10 minutes. He's like, well, I'm just going to fucking cut a promo or whatever. He still made it work, and he got into it with the referee. They, like, no matter what people say is the excuse, whether she didn't say she had a concussion, then it's 100% her fault. Whether nobody noticed, then regardless, there's no excuse for that match to be what it became.
There's actually people out there saying if you go back and listen to the spot after Kyrie had dropped down on Charlotte and Becky on the table, and the table did not break, you can hear Becky trying to get the refs to stop the match.
Yeah.
But they don't need to stop the match. They have 3 people that can still continue the match.
Yes,
she could just sit there on the side and recuperate a bit.
The officials letting them know that somebody was hurt, at least.
But she was tied down like a fucking... It was like an Acme cartoon, man. She was tied down to the fucking train. Right. It was so fucking... I don't know. After everything I saw in the TLC pay-per-view, I was not ready for more of this fucking... fucking garbage. Like, it was just comical. You could have put that fucking music to it, and it was that bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't care for it. I'm over Becky. I was over Becky fucking before she even won the title at WrestleMania. Sorry.
The thing is, the people that I thought were like on the cusp of becoming for the women's division, people that could lead in the ring and take over, don't seem to be able to do it. I haven't seen it yet from any of them. I always thought, like, looking at Charlotte and looking at Sasha, when they were in NXT, Bayley, I'd be like, oh man, they do have the potential. They made it to the main roster, and all of them took a dip in terms of what I thought they could do.
Right.
And they haven't really shown me that they can work a match properly in the ring without hitting the spots they've fucking practiced.
Correct. I just right now, even though it is the best women's wrestling out there right now, there is no real ring general. I mean, you could argue with Charlotte, but again, I don't know how great she is. She's not a tag team person. She's more of a singles person, where if it's her and another person, that's when she's at her best. When she's in there with 4 other people,
well, they're trying to push their tag team division with their single stars. That's a huge problem already. You have a bunch of other women on the roster that are tag teams. WWE should have never created a women's tag team championship because they don't know how to run a tag team division.
No, they don't.
It's evidenced by all the male roster that is ridiculous in terms of talent that puts on boring match after boring match.
I agree.
Now, that being said, though, before we move on, I know you said that you don't want to see the women main event anymore. This one is like, they didn't really have a main event for this, in my opinion. No, I can't really, and putting the women, I guess I would have said yes because it's a TLC match, and I didn't want to see Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns flop around with fucking chairs. They didn't even really have a TLC match.
Right.
But they just poor booking. And right after Survivor Series, which was another thing that was like, not poor booking, but it just seemed like thrown together because that's what it should be. They should have invested time in TLC to make it a bit better than it is. Yeah. Now, if they fuck up the Royal Rumble, they can lick my ass.
Yeah. Wow.
We better not see a women's Royal Rumble go on last, is all I'm saying.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's going to be the men.
I think they're going to end up bookending with the...
The one. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They always do. That's what they'll do.
So what do you give TLC out of 10, JP?
We talked about it at the TLC show. What did I gave it a 1.5?
Yeah, I think I did too. Just for the one match we both agreed was the best match.
Yeah.
Ronnie, you said it a 10 out of 10.
And if we had to give it something, I gave it the 1 for Alistair and Buddy.
It was
bad. It was bad. It was a bad pay-per-view.
You want to talk about bad? Followed by Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw was fucking bad.
I just felt so sorry for those people in that audience.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 hours of wrestling is one thing, plus coming off of that pay-per-view and then having to sit there for that garbage.
It's inexcusable for me, man. like 2 back-to-back shit shows and the Raw with the gauntlet match that lasted 10 years that accomplished nothing. They basically had all these guys wrestle just to be like, Seth Rollins gets it. He wasn't even the fucking match.
Yep. But then Seth Rollins is the one that ends up getting a shot at fucking Rey Mysterio. Whatever. It is. Yeah. Fucking, there is nothing redeeming on that show at all. Nothing. Again, and the highest rated segment. When we talk about ratings, people watch Raw. Not many people watch fucking TV anymore, man. There's just so much out there. There's so many choices out there that it's fourth or fifth highest rated show on fucking TV.
Raw has entered that fucking place where Days of Our Lives lives. Yep. Like, you've established an audience, and the people that go through clock, like, day in, day out, it's like punching a clock to watch wrestling now.
It is.
And I think that might change. I hope it does, with NXT becoming the obvious better choice, and with AEW being a better choice than Raw. I mean, Raw is like fucking getting cancer and being like, I wish I had more.
Yeah. But we're going to get in because there's nothing really to talk about. It was trash. I think I might have given the show a 1. It wasn't.
I don't, outside of the gauntlet match that I hated, I don't know what the fuck. Oh, Seth Rollins promo where he came out with like 0 intensity.
Yeah.
And said the exact same thing he said the first time.
Yep.
You got the Lana proposal, which is leading into this coming Monday with the wedding.
The funny thing about that, and I'm going to say that, is she, and I called it. Heather and I were sitting here watching the fucking show, and she is going to say, Bobby, will you propose to me? And it's exactly what she said. But the way she said it, she goes, Bobby, No, that's not. No, she said, I want you to ask me to marry me.
But then she did say that it's just like we rehearsed. So just, I don't know. It's a weird dynamic that they have going on with those two. It's not anything I'm interested in any way, what shape or form. Right. But certain people are. To each their own. WWE pulls this shit once a year.
Yep. So, yeah.
Well, and then even the next night after that, they posted out on their Twitter through Madison Square Garden. They're putting Becky, Charlotte, and Asuka in a steel cage match on the 26th. So it's a live show.
Whoa. Say it again.
There's a live show in Madison Square Garden on the 26th.
Okay.
So the day after Raw, they put it out on their Twitter that they're putting Becky, Charlotte, and Asuka in a steel cage triple threat match.
Well, that's going to be a match. I think that's going to be a match where...
I don't see Becky losing on a live show.
They're doing it
for the title, right?
No. I don't see her losing, but I think they're building to that. That's them just...
Practicing.
It's going to be Asuka and Becky. Asuka and Becky
understand.
Are going.
Asuka's got the fucking tag championships, man.
I know. Well, I don't think they're going to have it for very long. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's why Raw was fucking trash. Because who else has Becky got to wrestle? She's beat fucking everybody. She hasn't beat Asuka. Asuka is the only person that she has not beat. Get the fucking tag team titles off of fucking Asuka and Kairi so that Becky and Asuka, you can fucking tell that story. If you're going to fucking have Becky beat Asuka, then guess what? Nobody's going to beat. And then fucking do the Shayna Baszler and fucking Becky thing. I don't give a fuck what you do.
They can't run a singles division and a tag division at the same time. They don't have the roster to do it.
Get the title off of Becky. She's fucking garbage. I do not fucking... I do not.
And then put it where? Like, I mean, I don't want it on her either, but like, their division's fucking garbage, man. Like, it's some of the best talent is just booked terrible.
For some fucking reason, I think Ronda is going to come back and she's going to be Brock Lesnar. She's going to fucking take the title off of Becky and then she's going to fucking disappear.
Honestly, I think they actually need her back.
I know they do.
No, they do.
Because they have nobody that makes that division legitimate.
Agreed.
And I mean, with the talent that they have, and I know we complain about AEW's women's division, but the talent that WWE has, and you've got Sasha and Bayley that are going nowhere. You've got Becky and Charlotte that are going nowhere. I know they're trying to build up Lacey Evans, and I mean, that's being portrayed as she's with Sasha and Bayley feuding. And of course, Asuka, she's got the tag team belts. It's a clusterfuck.
Mm-hmm. I actually think if AEW had the women's division WWE had, it would be a lot better. I'm not saying NXT, because NXT does the women's division pretty damn good. Yes. But the main roster for WWE, oh my fucking lord, man. Right. Yeah, everybody's going to be a fucking champion. Like, Charlotte's going to be a 50-time champion by the time she loses or retires.
Oh, I agree. So, when we move on, are we okay? Is there anything else?
Well, I was going to say, didn't we want to talk about Matt Hardy with how bad he looked?
Okay, I do. That's what I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about fucking Matt Hardy. People on fucking Twitter are dumb, and we'll get into the Twitter people even further here, but here's one thing that really fucking irks me. How can you honestly tell me, anybody that likes Matt Hardy, can you honestly look me straight in the face and say that I want to see Matt Hardy continue wrestling? Because, my God, the guy fucking looks like C-3PO without the fucking suit on. Seriously,
it's 100% true.
He fucking walks like he's got fucking a corn cob up his ass and a fucking barbed wire up his fucking pee hole.
It's full body fusion, man.
Yeah, I understand, and that's what I'm getting at. The guy cannot even fucking get up. He's like a turtle when he gets on his back. He can't fucking move. Why do people want to see this guy fucking continue? If anything, he needs to just become a manager, or he just needs to become Broken Matt and just do segments on fucking... Just have a fucking half-hour fucking show or an hour show or whatever on fucking, like they do on the Miz and Mrs. or fucking Total Bellas, and have him do a show, because my God, the guy can't fucking wrestle. And I'm one of those guys that loves Matt Hardy. I loved them guys. And it has nothing to do with Jeff Hardy being there, because I actually like Matt more than I like Jeff. My God, the guy can't wrestle anymore. His body has become one with itself.
And I will say, I saw this shit before. He even took that little hiatus where they had him, but they weren't using him. Like, when he first came back, he was still wrestling like this. He might be a little bit slower because he probably has some ring rust from being off TV for so long, or out of ring for so long. But even if he comes back to what he was when he was wrestling consistently, it's not good. And then there's a bunch of people saying, I think he's gonna, he's charging up the idea that he's gonna go back broken because he's not gonna stay with WWE. Okay. Where is he really going to go and wrestle like a fucking rock soldier and get over? And why would he, like, the thing is, like, for him to leave WWE, he has to have the confidence that he can still work in ring for the next 2 to 5 years. I do not see that happening.
I don't either.
He needs to either become a producer, or he needs to go down to the Performance Center, or he needs to... Because I'm telling you right now, people are like, oh, you should go to AEW. No. I don't want to see the guy in AEW.
I will say he probably has like one run left in him in like Impact or something. But then if he leaves WWE to go somewhere else, are they going to welcome back with open arms when he's not ever going to be wrestling?
My thing is I don't think
not even that.
He'll never go back
to what he used to. I mean, I would not want to see this man in any type of a ladder match, which is what he and his brother are known for. This man will literally break in half trying to do that kind of moveset.
That's why he's in the fucking position in the way he looks now, is because he's put his body on the line for fans all over the world, and now they want more. They want more. They want more. People, you don't you don't want to kill. You're going to kill this guy. This guy's going to kill himself for you just so that you. Now think about this. He's got 3 kids now. He's not going to be able to go out and play catch with his kids because he's crippled because he's trying to put. And that's
he can
on
play
him
catch. He's just not going to be able to move.
To do it. That's on him. But for me, I would say fuck you guys. I'm done. If you want me to stay on board here, WWE, I'll do whatever. But I cannot wrestle anymore.
I sadly think he wants to wrestle, and I know they're getting like his contract's coming up, and they're starting to use him now.
They're doing an extension with Jeff's.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be like okay. If he wants to wrestle and he really has his mindset on wrestling for the next couple of years, and he thinks he can do it, he might be leaving WWE because WWE is not going to feature him in anything. They don't really care about Matt Hardy. They care about Jeff and Matt. If they can't have Jeff, because they won't have Jeff, they don't really. Matt's going to be fucking wrestling Bo Dallas for the rest of his life.
And I can care. I just don't want to see the guy wrestling. From what I've
seen. And then see the tweets that they want to see him in AEW because they want him against Darby Allin. Darby Allin's one that needs to take a look at what this guy's been through because that's going to be Darby Allin in another 6 to 10 years.
But for Matt Hardy to go against Darby Allin makes no fucking sense.
No, man.
Because it's that hardcore mentality. That's what they want to see.
Well, they're stupid.
They want to see the high flying.
I don't want to see him wrestle.
And Matt can't do it. I don't even think Jeff can actually do it.
Well, Jeff,
I'm telling you, if he goes to AEW, put him in a talking role as part of the Dark Order.
I can see that.
Make him be the leader of the Dark Order and make him wrestle once in a blue moon, like once a year, and have it be terrible. Whatever. At least we don't have to see it every fucking day.
Well, at least we would know somebody in the Dark Order because that group to me is just as bad as the WWE women's roster. It makes no sense to me.
Dark Order. Well, let's talk about AEW. So,
yeah, well, we can start with the Dark Order because I agree with you 100%. It doesn't make any fucking sense. The promos are so different than what they are. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And that segment at the end of that night was total garbage because you had 20-some Dark Order minions out there beating up on half a dozen elite guys. And that's what caused all the chaos on Twitter.
Beat it up.
Beating up. Yeah, they were beating up on fucking Dustin Rhodes' head. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they were beating up the
shadow boxing him.
And I don't care what anybody fucking says. That wasn't a botch. That was just shitty. That's not even a fucking botch.
It's happened in WWE.
If it happens I'm gonna say
in ring, it's a botch.
For that guy to come out and say, I didn't want to hurt him because he was already bleeding. Did you not watch the match between him and Cody Rhodes? You fucking goon.
Do you think this guy can't take a kayfabe fucking punch? You punch with an open fist and you just fucking tap him. Like this wasn't even Shane McMahon punch level bad. No, this was just fucking throwing haymakers at the canvas.
It wasn't. He was throwing haymakers at behind his shoulder. It wasn't even at the fucking mat. It wasn't at anything. It was air. And that I do not give a fuck. That is just shitty. The guy
and the
needs
same
to
thing
be
that happened
fired,
to them.
Or better yet, teach the motherfucker. And Dustin Rhodes said it. Learn how to fucking punch. That's what he said.
He said, "Come to my school. I will teach you."
So don't. All you AEW fucking fangirls and boys need to fucking stop fucking defending it when it shouldn't be defended. It's bullshit. Because we shit on it when WWE does it. I shit on it when AEW does it. Leave Klondike Bill alone. He is not doing anything wrong. He's not doing anything different than any other fan is doing. You people on fucking Twitter. Dream Over Bro. Merch Freak Austin. Yeah, I'm calling you out, bitch. You're the fucking... You want to talk about fucking cancer? You're a fucking cancer. All these fucking people that fucking just... All of a sudden, oh my God, you can't talk shit about... Shut the fuck up. I can talk shit about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Motherfuckers.
He fucking pointed out an obvious shit spot.
was a shitty spot and it needed to be called out. Deal with it.
And the thing, you know what it reminded me of? It's like an extra in fucking Braveheart that pulls out their cell phone. Like somebody that wants to be part of the business, but it's not even, this is just a bit part, whatever. I'm just going to fucking shit my pants during it. Make it look real. We know it's fake. If you make it look fake, you fucking don't deserve to be in wrestling at all, ever. I don't care if you're like a side character that we never see that has no face. If you don't make it look real, it doesn't matter. It's like when Triple H comes out and he has people fucking dressed up as like Skeletor. They come out there and start playing fucking Flappy Bird on their iPhone. It takes us out of the immersion. It's just a shit spot. There's no excuse for it. Anybody that wants to defend it can eat my fucking ass. And with whatever Klondike Bill said, wait, for fuck's sake, he didn't even say anything. It wasn't like attacking anybody. He's just like,
he just made a joke and said, "Stop the match." LOL.
Oh, this guy's so negative all the time. Oh, it was fucking great. This is the wrestling I want to see. Please give me more. Yeah, that person needs to be fucking shoved off a cliff with the rest of the fucking vile shitbags.
It was a bad spot. Should have never fucking happened. And well, it should have happened. What was going on was okay. But here I'm gonna say this. Blame the camera guy.
Yeah, they shouldn't have kept that angle.
He sat on that fucking shit for I don't know how long.
At least 30 seconds.
But we'll talk about the Twitter thing.
30 seconds.
We'll get into the Young Bucks.
That's a fucking long time, man.
We'll get into the Young Bucks here in a minute because I have something to say about that shit. I don't give a fuck who I hurt or who I piss off. But AEW was bad. I didn't care about anything on this show.
I feel like the unfortunate thing with AEW too is they have a good tag team division, and the fact that it's probably the thing I care about the least just shows that they didn't treat it right from the get-go, and they're suffering now for it.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, NXT, aside from the 2 matches, was not great either.
No, I agree.
It wasn't great. If I had to give it and a very little leg up, because AEW, I will say this, AEW was better than Raw and SmackDown, but so was NXT, but they weren't like, I gotta fucking, oh my God. It wasn't one of those, I didn't care. Aside from the 2 matches, the 2 championship matches, I didn't care about NXT. I didn't. AEW,
yeah, I agree.
The tag team championship match, I didn't care. The Young Bucks don't do it for me. They never have. They never will. The Young Bucks are nothing but a glorified Shawn Michaels. That is exactly what they are. They are Shawn Michaels times 2. Wendy.
I will say, like, the Young Bucks, they work a lot better in a match that involves like 6 to 8 people. So their rush to move from spot to spot is hidden while other people are actually fighting. Mm-hmm. You don't get this slowdown and then all of a sudden flipping off the rope, flying into someone from a 1,000-degree angle. They don't really know how to carry a match that's actually wrestling in the ring. Mm-hmm. They know how to fucking gymnastics themselves into the fucking Olympics.
Right. Yeah, but NXT, we do have a new champion. Rhea Ripley is the new champion on NXT. Is there anything anybody want to? I'm sorry. Anybody? Anything else? Anybody want to? The one thing that I did, there was one thing that I did like what they did. Aside from the finish of the match, was the Christian.
Yeah, the finish was confusing, and it didn't make it didn't have to happen to make Jericho. Jericho ended up looking weak for Jungle Boy to look strong, and they actually pulled it off perfectly the first time. Mm-hmm. And they should have just left it at that. Jungle Boy looked strong for lasting 10 minutes, and Jericho should have just got frustrated and left. Right. Instead of this back and forth bullshit that they did.
Yeah. Well, and not even that, but it's just like as that match was ending, he's walking up the ramp. And then he turns his promo part into something about Jon Moxley. So it was like, it was completely out of the realm of after he went down and had the match with Jungle Boy, then he comes back out, goes around the ring throwing a fit again, and then he goes up the ramp and it's like, okay, Jon Moxley, this is going to be about you now because we want an answer about the Inner Circle and then promoting the match that's upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
This is one thing that does infuriate me with that booking, because that booking was very much like how WWE books 90% of their heels, Raw and SmackDown. This, for the most part, Jericho has been booked pretty strong, like in ring, and then he was good on the mic. Now with this specific match, he kind of dipped into that weak in ring, scaredy bitch heel, arrogant asshole on the mic, and it's just like, how many times have I seen that angle, man? I don't want you to be a loser in ring just so you can be arrogant for no reason on the mic. That is fucking heel 101 from what I've seen.
I agree.
And the only other thing I have is they, like we said in the beginning, they have a tag team division, but they're throwing singles like WWE is into tag team teammates.
They're doing the New Japan without the New Japan roster.
You got Cody has had 2 partners in the last 2 weeks. Let these guys do singles.
Well, this is why they don't have like a mid card, though they have the talent for a mid card. They don't have a mid card, which makes no sense to me, because now you have Hangman Page and Kenny Omega just fucking out there in the water doing literally nothing. They might have okay or good.
Just that that whole show was it just plotted. It just didn't feel. And then we're supposed to get about what's your alien girl, whatever her name was. I forget her name.
Chris Statman.
Oh God.
Oh God. I don't even want to. Why did you have to bring that up?
Boop.
You're fired. No, go ahead.
I forgot about it.
It's like why were we supposed to give a shit? Congratulations, you won the number one contenders match. Who cares? Well, and then they show Riho looking at the ring like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, that segment fell super flat.
The match itself.
On Twitter, they're calling her Rio Lesnar because she hasn't been there.
The match.
She does have her obligations, which is what most of. With the talent being spread between the Mexican and the DDT and the New Japan and stuff like that. But even that match that was put together that Trek mentioned, I mean, you had Britt and Chris Statlander fighting for the number 1 contendership because of Shida, who is the number 1 contender, can't be there to have the match for January 1st.
Right.
So that was the only reason that match was actually occurring. Because they needed a number 1 contender since Shida wasn't going to be there.
Now, my thing is, I didn't mind the match happening. The number 1 contender match happening, because it kind of needed to happen. Because Shida's not going to be there.
Right.
The 2 people that were involved in the match should not have been involved in the match.
They don't really have any other choices, because that's on them,
and
though. It's not an excuse. It's 100% AEW's fault.
I understand that. But Shida had prior commitments, and AEW apparently doesn't have enough pull on her yet to say, no, you belong to us. You're exclusive. Whenever we need you, we need you. So they don't have that pull.
And that's a telltale sign of the fact that they're not a competitor or anywhere close to WWE. Right. If they book something and build something and then all of a sudden they can't book the talent, that's not a good look, man, because you can't book any or build anything properly if you're all of a sudden people are just going to be picked out from you. I do agree with what they're doing with Riho. I know a lot of people think, oh, she's off TV forever. It's like, please, yeah, that's fine.
Well, Jesus Christ, she was on like the first fucking 4 weeks of the show.
And people complained then, and then they took her off, and people complain now. This is the case of only someone's going to bitch, yeah.
Yeah. But I can't, I'm going to have to disagree with Trek. with the number one. And I get it that the two people that were involved in the match should not have been. It should have been Shida, but they couldn't get her. Whatever, that's fine. But they needed to do something.
Well, and that's not even just with them. I mean, we have mentioned if Chris Jericho goes out with injury or Chris Jericho loses the belt, who should be the one running that company? Well, the one that should be running that company has a title in another promotion.
Well, we talked about that, and I kind of agree. Kenny Omega?
Nah.
Can't cut it.
It's either going to be, it really should be Cody Rhodes if he goes down, but because they booked that out of the question, it's going to have to be fucking Jon Moxley. I just don't like.
We're going to probably end up getting.
Chris Jericho is out of that company. They take a. For me, I don't know if I would be watching. Because they lose a huge promo. The thing I probably enjoy the most from AEW is Chris Jericho. And they take him away and replace him with Jon Moxley, a guy who I don't really care for. He's not bad, but he's not good. And then Cody Rhodes is pigeonholed.
He's not somebody I'm going to fucking, I got to watch the show next week. He doesn't do
no, he's definitely not one of those guys. Not for me. And they're trying to do the Stone Cold or badass angle with him or something. And I can't help but see Dean Ambrose because his character is not different enough from Dean Ambrose. It's just a more intense version of Dean Ambrose. And I never liked Dean Ambrose.
The other thing is, are you going to have unsanctioned matches, which is mainly what he's been in? You can't have that if he's going to have the title. He's going to have to defend the title. You can't keep putting him in unsanctioned matches or...
They only put him in I think one or two, and then after that he's been steady Eddie on regular matches. But he comes out there and beats a fucking little fuckboy out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, AEW was not a very good show. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
They don't have the roster to not be putting on more pay-per-views because their filler is basically going to be in ring. You're going to start to see the same thing all the time because they don't have the roster to do filler shows that are entertaining.
Yeah.
Yet you're going to see filler shows for 6 months of the year.
Of course. NXT. Rhea Ripley. Well, the opening match, we knew, if it didn't have a title change, you knew there was going to be a title change in this show. It had to. Either that match, either the men's match or the women's match was going to have a title change. And for me, I think they switched. I think the men's title should have been changed for the time being. I think it hurts the women's division. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Rhea Ripley isn't the answer because they have been grooming her. She was the NXT UK Women's Champion. She didn't do too bad of a job there. It's about the only thing that I even cared about as far as NXT UK goes was Rhea Ripley in the women's division in NXT UK. Now that she's not there, I don't care about NXT UK. Toni Storm doesn't do it for me, and neither does Kelly Klein or who's the good woman at that? Kylie Ray. Who cares? I forgot she even existed. I think I say this, and the only reason that I say this is that Rhea Ripley being put in this position now is because of her age. She is only 24 years old. They're putting a lot of trust in her to, not saying Shayna Baszler was the greatest champion ever, but they're really pushing her to be the face of NXT in the women's division. And I'm not saying she can't do it because I think she can. I just worry that because of her age is her only downfall. I said this on Twitter the other day, and there are a couple people that agreed with me. I'm not saying I like Rhea Ripley. I think she's a great talent. She is more than capable. Seen it with the NXT UK. But at her age, in this position, is way higher than NXT UK. She's going to be the face of the NXT women's division, which people, by the way, is the best women's division in all of fucking wrestling today.
I actually think like the main reason that they changed the title's hands is because Shayna, like there literally is pretty much nobody else for her to compete against in NXT. Mm-hmm. It was at that point where the title had to change hands without retreading old ground. Mm-hmm. And she didn't have a rivalry that I really wanted to see again that I hadn't already seen twice. Yeah. Where Adam Cole might have a little bit more like mileage to go, but I do think Adam Cole's going to be losing to Finn Balor.
I do agree with you.
I didn't like that they put the men's match on first, though, because it ruined the last match.
I just think that Adam Cole losing wouldn't hurt the men's division because they got Finn Balor, they got the return of Johnny Gargano, they got Ciampa. So if Adam Cole was to lose the title, it wouldn't be the end of the championship. The men's division wouldn't be weak. It wouldn't be weak if Cole wasn't the champion.
But my thinking is, too, even with that, if they decided at some point to split up Undisputed Era, it would also allow Adam Cole to go against Roderick Strong.
I think the ending of Undisputed Era is happening starting next week because Roderick Strong is taking on somebody a challenge, and I think it's probably going to be Keith Lee. I think I do agree. You said Keith Lee, right, Basement? Because I
think that's the beginning of the end for them in terms of title holders.
That is how that's going to end that faction.
See, and that's why I was thinking with Shayna, because of how old she is and what they were doing with her at Survivor Series, it would allow her to move up, and then it would give the women's division for Raw or SmackDown
something new.
Something fresh, something new, but she's already had contact with Becky. She's already had contact with Bayley. So
that was more for an invasion angle rather than the championship.
The only thing that I can think of is that this is more and more pushing towards them doing a 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen thing. Which means Slender Man and fucking
God, no.
Marina Shafir are going to be following Shayna Baszler wherever she goes.
Ugh. Now, I would have rather see the title change hands on the takeover, not so much on the regular show. Yeah. But I think there is a story to tell there. If Finn Balor beats Adam Cole because of Roderick Strong, then you could have a good, couple months feud between Adam Cole and Roderick Strong that ends in the end of their actual Undisputed Era.
See, and that's what I was thinking. I mean, I was happy with Adam retaining it, but I know he's going to lose it eventually, but that was more of my thinking is when that fraction splits, it would at least give him somebody down there that he can feud with.
But he's got
and the thing is Shayna winning it, moving her up, giving Rhea the opportunity, which she has plenty on that roster to go against and meshes well with in the matches.
I think Adam Cole's got some people out there that and it wouldn't hurt. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's why I think personally if Adam Cole was to lose, there's more he's got people to feud with. Shayna Baszler, she's 40.
Also, the thing too is like Adam Cole loses, and if he loses in the way that I was proposing him to lose, he is probably going to be turned face.
Yes.
And you have a fresh run of people you can face as a face versus fighting them as the heel that he was, and it would probably start with the infighting in Undisputed Era. So I feel like that's why they changed the women's title instead of the men's, because I could see them going that route. Then again, most of the predictions I've ever made for NXT have been wrong. So,
right. Other than that, there was really nothing grabbing me on this show. Io Shirai, her character is developing well.
She had a very nice burn on an audience member who's happy to say go back to China.
And we'll talk about that. You know what? It is what it is. People, you know what? People are going to say whatever the fuck they want. And she did the right thing. She responded. She goes, I'm from China. I'm from Japan, bitch.
I'm Japanese, bitch.
Or I'm Japanese, bitch. So, it's not like... I think he's not a fan of Io Shirai. He's probably a fan of Candice LeRae's. And he was just the first thing that popped in his head. Doesn't mean he's fucking racist. Why is it that every time somebody says something, it's fucking racist? Go back to China. How is that racist? It's not racist. It's just somebody that's mad at her because she beat the shit out of fucking Candice LeRae. Get the fuck out of here with the racist bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think like telling somebody
says is racist.
I don't think telling somebody to go back to their country is inherently, or a country of origin or assumed origin, is essentially. I think that everyone's so quick on the trigger. Racism. It's fucking racism. I could smell the racism in the room.
It's so stupid. I hate that. I hate that shit. It just turns me off to fucking wrestling fans. It just makes me want to punch a bunch of wrestling fans.
It turns me off to pretty much everything I watch. When anything's like heavily about the racial divide, I'm like, all you're doing is fucking propagating fucking racial divide instead of actually telling a true story of how fucking racists treat each other 90% of the time. You're focusing on this smaller amount of the population and saying it's the biggest problem ever.
And another funny thing is these people on Twitter fucking saying this, that, and the other thing. I think these people are fucking grown-ass fucking adults. I think they can handle themselves. They don't need you to defend them. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god, I hate that fucking... Like, everybody seems to go, oh my god, like, for the fucking AEW thing. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I'm putting on my suit of armor to protect it. Like, the guy, the fucking AEW Light was his fucking name, and he said something about Klondike Bell. I'm like, you realize you're actually doing the exact same thing you're actually saying he did, but doing it to him and thinking it's okay because you're on the opposite side of the argument?
Yep. This fucking idiot. He's another one of those fucking punk-ass motherfuckers that needs to shut his fucking mouth. Or her mouth. Whoever it is. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. Fuck. I don't care.
Well, and even with that, I mean... with the racist comments and stuff that was going on last week with Kofi Kingston and all them, it's funny that if it's a racist company that he's working for that put him in that situation with being handcuffed, it's funny to see that him and the New Day, along with the Street Profits, signed 5-year contracts.
Well, as soon as they signed the new deals, everybody just shut up about the whole fucking thing.
Right.
Like, oh, maybe they aren't racist. Well, no shit, they're not racist, you fucking idiot.
For fuck's sakes, it's fake. It's like watching a fucking, what was it, 7 Years a Slave or whatever. Oh my god, how could they do this? I'm going to Twitter to say that. The movie's about fucking racism. It's fake. It's a production. It's a TV show. It's a TV show. Yes. With like... It's presenting itself as real. Meanwhile, we've got a guy fucking haymaker in the turnbuckle. For fuck's sakes, it's not real.
Right.
Stop.
Right. Wait, who and what was it y'all talking about the racist thing? I missed her. Oh, we're just talking in general. Somebody on NXT told Io Shirai to go back to China, and she stuck her head out the ring and looked at the dude or whoever it was and said, "I'm Japanese, bitch."
And that's really where that whole thing should end. But then Twitter gets a hand of it, and it's like, oh my god, deport him, kill him, cut his nuts off.
Yeah, shut up. It's just stupid. People are dumb. They think they're being white knights by fucking defending these people who are grown-ass fucking adults themselves.
And they see righteousness in ignorance is what they do.
They do.
Right, and every little thing is racist. I mean, that comment with Io Shirai led into people about racism. And then what Kofi went through, that was racism. It's just everything that comes out or is said leads to, that's a racist comment, or that's a racial slur, or whatever. Right. It's just people being overly sensitive and people sparking something on Twitter, which leads into this big Twitter controversy. And then when they're kind of put in their place, like you said, it shuts it down. Right. And then they should feel like idiots. Well, basically.
The funny thing is with Twitter people, if I said that, I'm just trying to be funny here. If I said my poop was brown and not black today, I'm racist. Because I literally pooped white the other day. Just telling you. Bob's not here, so I
must be a bird.
Yeah, it was. It should be. So now I'm a racist because it wasn't colored. See, that's the kind of shit that our society is dealing with today. I'm probably a racist because I accidentally, I don't know, it's something I ate or something. I don't know. So I pooped. It was wasn't normal brown. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's
all you'd have to say is I like watermelon, and that's gonna spark
somebody. Shit.
Okay, so here's stereotypes are based in racist beliefs or whatever, but they're not necessarily racist. If everybody believes in a stereotype, is it racist? Because then it's ist for every stereotype that exists, not only the stereotypes about race.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get rid of any of those, you kill half of comedy because they're all based on fucking stereotypes anyway. Yep. This culture that we live in is basically wanting to kill anything that's actually fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all just live in a fucking glass house and shoot shit all over the walls.
Right. So, is there anything else? Again, wrestling this week wasn't that great. I'm not gonna lie. SmackDown, I will get into SmackDown. I didn't think it was bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't as good as AEW or NXT, but it was like 10 times better than Otis, and that he is entertaining.
I've seen everything on Twitter with him, and it's hilarious with him and Mandy.
Well,
he's a guy I would say strike while the iron is hot, because the iron will not stay hot.
No, it will go away. Is Randy Orton on SmackDown, or is he on Raw? I can't remember.
He's on Raw.
He's on Raw. But he went against AJ.
SmackDown.
I don't know who's where. Braun Strowman did something probably.
Braun Strowman challenge was funny. So Sami Zayn drew him for the Secret Santa, which was funny, and it's not racist because he's Muslim or whatever. Because he said, "I got you," or I got Braun Strowman for Secret Santa, and Braun Strowman said, "You want to know what?" He goes, "I really want to get what you want for Christmas." And Braun Strowman looked at him and said, "You really want to get me what I want for Christmas? Give me a shot at Shinsuke's Intercontinental title." And Shinsuke looked at him like he was insulted. Shinsuke went, "How dare you ask for a title shot?" It's kind of
Did it happen? I don't know. I didn't watch it.
No, it didn't happen. He's just essentially saying, but he did the tag team match with Shinsuke and what was the tag team match? Shinsuke and
Cesaro.
Cesaro took on.
I'm busy with her.
I'm not.
New Day.
The New Day, and what happened is Sami Zayn got interfered in the match, and then Braun Strowman came out. So they're going to do something with it. That's all I can tell you. The show moved along. Like the show last week moved really slow. This show actually moved along pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit here. I was entertained. Let me put it to you that way. I'd given it a 5 out of 10 if I was doing the show.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Now, just in case anybody's concerned, Dana Brooke did sign a 5-year contract too, so she's sticking with WWE.
Like she was going to go anywhere else.
Like, right. Like, and I think it's more that she just wants to engage with Batista.
Well, according to her Twitter, she could also do Brazzers.
Right. We'll get into contract signings here in a minute as well. There's a couple other contract signings we need to talk about.
I will say Dana Brooke was someone that was fucking atrocious when she first showed up. She's still not good, but you can at least see like she's made some strides in the ring. She used to botch everything. Now she can at least wrestle a match. She kind of reminds me of her.
She has gotten better. I am going to say that right now.
I'm going to say her ceiling is Natalya.
Well, that's a pretty good ceiling.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Natalya.
My only other complaint with SmackDown is it's not just SmackDown. It's anything with wrestling. And I know they have done this dating back to Dominic, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. I hate when they use these freaking kids to get over a storyline.
Okay, so I'm actually going to talk about that because I did not mind what they did. I did not mind what they did with the Lacey Evans thing. That actually has been an ongoing thing. And I don't mind it for this reason alone, is they're bringing real life into it. And they're trying to get Lacey Evans over. And the way that they did this, now, it is her child, and she did approve it. I don't mind it. I would never put my daughter in that situation because it's not needed. If that's what you're talking, are you talking about that segment?
Well, I'm talking about that segment, and then the week before, they're using Mrs. Kids.
Well, I mean, they kind of had to because he threw his family in there. So you kind of...
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's just, I don't like the idea of, it's one thing when you're there for the company. But when you start bringing your family into it, that's where I have a problem because these kids are innocent. I mean, they're on camera. If you want them on camera, that's your business, or you want to post them on Instagram, that's your business. But when you're bringing them into a storyline like they'd used this week and then the week prior with Monroe, and like I said, they did it way back when they had Dominic, Eddie, and Rey Mysterio. I've always had an issue bringing kids into these storylines because to me, if you want heel heat, that's one thing. But bringing a kid into it, I know they did it with AJ's kid, with the daughter. I just don't like that aspect that you have to put your kid in that.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna disagree with you on this, and this reason alone. They are, and they do, and I'm going to just because I hope this is what the parents do, that they do say, what mommy does is not real.
Yeah, that's a conversation that has to happen.
That has to happen. If it does not, then shame on them. But if they do, and they're like, that mommy is not going to get hurt, because if you ever seen Beyond the Mat?
Yeah.
So when I think Mick Foley brought his kids backstage, and
Mick Foley's the thing is like he actually took some vicious fucking bumps, right? Like it's not it's hard to compare those two, but he did. They knew, the kids knew.
But that's what I'm saying. They went back and they were like, you do realize that. The Rock even said, "You do realize I'm not really. I'll take care of your dad in the ring." Which he did take. Yeah, he did take care of. So
having the competitor come up and talk to the kids and be like jovial and have a good time. They're like,
see what and I know Ronnie knows this, and I'm not shitting on what she's saying because I do kind of agree with you as a parent myself. Yeah, I get it. But here's the thing, and they have to have that conversation because if they don't, then shame on them. But
I will say this segment probably needed it the most.
Yes.
Out of the other ones that she mentioned, because this is Lacey Evans breaking out of a character that she was already before to become something so much better. And it was hinged on her talking about her kid. Therefore, it's probably the only deserving segment to have that. And when I saw like a little highlight of it, the kid was like, yeah. It wasn't
she was all about it. She was
feisty, yeah.
And she's what, 8? 7? 8?
Where the Miz's kid is like fucking 1.5 or some shit.
With the Miz, I don't know if it'll traumatize the kid, but I get that part. Well, fuck, anything with Bray Wyatt, I wouldn't let my kid be a part of anyway. It's like, can we use your kid? Nope.
It's the Bray Muscle Man dance. I'm pretty sure he has sex with kids.
Seems like he's a pedophile. So yeah.
He probably is.
I get what you're saying, Ronnie, but I think they had to have that. And I've seen them have that conversation with the kids where we'll take care of your mom's not really going to get hurt.
They're all backstage and they meet each other.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
Shit, even Vince brings the kids backstage and says, your dad's okay with me. I'm going to make sure he's okay.
But the thing is that right there, that segment alone for me put Lacey Evans, she's solidified herself as a face now.
Yeah.
They need
to
she
solidified her character as much better than it was.
The way they didn't have her, she didn't come out acting all Southern Bella. She ran to the fucking ring and fucking win it, Sasha Banks. I think they're changing the way that her character is, which I don't.
She better not go back to the Southern Belle, where I can buy bro being like that guy outside of the ring and a legit fighter inside. Mm-hmm. I can't buy her being Southern Belle outside and inside just brutal.
Right. So yeah, I do get what Ronnie's saying, but I can't. I didn't mind it because it solidified. And it made her look like, you fuck with my kid and I will kill you, which was she was Mama Bear. Then you could tell. Then that's what I liked. It gave the realism of Mama Bear.
Yeah, and it's helping that angle a lot, and that's gonna do both people very well.
Sasha Banks played the heel part perfectly. That I loved it. The girl played into it, and I liked that too, which tells me that they did have that conversation. Yes, I liked it because apparently Sasha's taking pictures with her before backstage, and she put it on a Twitter picture or whatever.
Well, she's 8. She's probably like, it's all for fun. Just like play with it. Kids love to play, so fuck it. Half the time they're pretending to be something they aren't anyway.
Right. Yep. So we talked about the botching segment. Let's talk about Twitter.
Oh God. Do you want to talk about the Edge Twitter first? Because that's
sure, let's talk about the Edge Twitter. So apparently, I don't know who put it out. Ringside News put out a report saying that Edge had signed a new deal and was cleared to wrestle again. It comes, and then the very next day, 12 hours later, Edge said still no and no, period. So, that being said, Edge is not going to wrestle, and Edge did not sign a new deal.
He didn't sign a new deal? I have no idea. I have no idea what's happening.
It was like a Legends contract, I think.
No, he did not sign anything. He has said he has not signed anything.
Right, as it stands right now, I mean, even if he signed a new deal, and even if he was going to wrestle again, you think the best place to announce it is Twitter?
No.
Of course he's going to say what he says regardless. Mm-hmm. Do I want to see him back? I don't think he needs to come back.
No.
Well, all this started because he got in the ring with Elias. He speared him. He said, I can't do that anymore. They won't let me do it anymore. It's like, dude, they're going to let you do one move. It's going to get attention to the product. That's all it is. It's not like...
Well, if he comes in and spears somebody, that's cleared for physical contact, it's suspicious. That's why so many people are talking about it.
Well, it was right after that they first reported that he had signed a new deal and was going to come back for that year's Royal Rumble. And then, of course, it happened, and he was nowhere to be found. And he had tweeted out then, no and no.
Yeah, he's probably WWE will take care of him for the rest. If he shows up at an event, they'll pay him. Hey,
I'm not ruling out him wrestling. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like he did with Becky, and they probably paid him for that one segment. So whatever, it is what it is. I don't think he's ever coming back. I did see people on there saying you made the right move by not signing with WWE. Has he? You all act like he shouldn't sign with WWE.
Like he's gonna go somewhere else.
They're gonna treat him like shit. Jesus fucking Christ, he's a fucking Hall of Famer. They aren't gonna treat that guy like shit.
And he's WWE made. Like, come on, man.
And his wife's on NXT commentating.
No shit.
Yeah. Whoever says otherwise might be the stupidest motherfucker alive. I'm not going to rule him out coming back because people have returned from bad things before. Mm-hmm. There was huge reports about Sheamus never coming back, and he's fucking suiting up soon. Mm-hmm. So I can't rule it out, but there's no real need on speculating on it that much. We don't know enough.
Right.
And if he comes back and shows up in the Royal Rumble or shows up down the line, then whatever, it happens.
I don't think he will, but that's neither here nor there.
And basement, to your point earlier about you saying that it was suspicious that he was allowed to come back and spear somebody. Look at Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, but if you have a neck, like I don't know, man. I just feel like, you might be able to come back and do a move or two in the ring. I don't know. It just seemed like we hadn't seen him at all, and then that was what we saw from him. So who knows? You're probably right. He's just dead.
What?
I was saying with The Rock. I mean, you saw what he did with Harper at WrestleMania. I mean, he gave him the rock bottom, and that was pretty much the end of that.
Well, The Rock could probably still go. He'd be blown up in 2 seconds because he's the size of a fucking freight truck.
They said he can, but his insurance company will never let him compete again because when he fought John Cena last time, he tore every muscle off his pelvis pretty much. So they'll never let him get cleared again.
But they also, like, I mean, what purpose is Edge's return? It seems way higher risk than any reward.
Well, they also said that, he shut down his podcast with Christian. Like, maybe he was just done with doing his podcast. It does have to have a specific reason why.
Didn't they shut down that show they did for like a year or two?
No, that was the WWE Network one. This is their Edge and Christian podcast of awesomeness.
No, who
that's
knows,
because
man.
Christian is now working at WWE backstage, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Edge is not going anywhere. He's going to be with WWE in some role. But as for the in-ring thing, could it happen? Yeah. Small chance, yes. If it does it really matter that much? Because he's going to come back, get the fanfare for his entrance, and then disappear again into a haze of smoke.
Edge is one of my favorite in-ring performers, promos ever. I loved Edge. Edge, loved his entrance music. Probably one of my favorite entrance music. One of the last real ones that I can actually pop for. Every time I hear it, I perk up just because I love the sound of his music that he has when he comes out. I love it. But
it was good music accompanied by good in-ring. And usually now we've had good music accompanied by Bobby Roode.
True. So yeah.
Somebody said, go ahead, JP.
No, go ahead, Trek.
Somebody said, that's going to be the next Saudi show, that the Prince is going to want Edge to wrestle and they're going to have to let him. They don't have to do shit. They can say, the Prince wants you to wrestle. He's like, all he has to do is say no. And like I said, the doctors won't clear him. So you could be the Prince of Saudi and you could say, I want Edge to be there, But if it's against his health, they're not going to put Ethan in his permanent health and maybe break his neck permanent wheelchair. Because that's where he said that he was headed if he kept going.
Oh, okay, so we've beat a dead horse.
Pretty much.
We have. We've beat a dead horse. Edge, I don't think Edge is ever coming back.
No, now the horse has been dead for a while. We're just beating corpse at this point.
Sure, whatever.
It's like Bobby beating his red dead horse.
Pretty much.
We kind of talked about it already, but look, and I'll say it again. I'll be more calm this time, unless I'm just so fried on this whole fucking thing. Again, AEW. I don't know who. Actually, Mark Henry and Trish Stratus also. Even though Mark Henry said fire this guy, that was all he put out there. Look, you see botches, and it wasn't even a botch. It was a bad worked situation. When you're in that situation, Dustin Rhodes, I'm hoping he was. He's saying, dude, you can't pull punches here. Hit me. Well, you're bleeding. I don't give a fuck. Hit me. Make it look like you're hitting me. Don't punch air, because punching air isn't doing shit. The Shane McMahon, he actually connected with his shit, even though it looked like shit. He still.
Well, I mean, how many times have we seen fucking ghost hits in WWE and they've been fucking driven into the ground? It's the same idea.
Agreed.
You do something shitty, you're going to be called out. This is the rule of the world at this point in time in entertainment.
And for all you fucking people out there that are sitting there saying you are a cancer, you're negative Nancy. He has every right to be a negative Nancy if he
but it's not being a negative Nancy.
Fucking let
to say something's bad is not
understand
being
that,
negative.
But I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, and yes, I say stop being negative. But again, it's his right to be a negative fucking Nancy. If you don't like, and I said it today on his timeline. I said if you don't fucking like it, then don't fucking read it. Just get off his fucking, ignore it. Get off his fucking timeline. The guy is not saying anything that nobody else has never said. Why is it now all of a sudden let's attack Klondike Bill because he's saying things about fucking AEW? Get the fuck out of here.
Those are the people that are. That's the opposite version, or basically the same version as a negative Nancy. Somebody that's going to pinpoint and attack somebody that doesn't need to be attacked and try to fucking become a knight in shining armor for nobody, because nobody's asking for this. Nothing is happening. All he said was the spot was shit and I'm going to laugh at it.
Right.
And therefore it should be done.
So I'm going to come out and say I
don't know why anybody's running to fucking...
I'm going to come out and say it. Fuck Orange Cassidy. There, I said it. Come at me, motherfuckers. I don't care. I don't care.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I don't. Anybody that wants to put their viewpoint on somebody else is a fucking twat.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you don't like something, you don't like something. I don't like something, I don't like something. I'm not expecting you to try to change my opinion. We can debate it, and maybe I'll end up on a different line somewhere down the way. But to be like, you don't like what I like? You're the fucking worst scum alive. You need to die in a fire, and I'm going to eat your children.
Yep. It is. People are. I don't even know, man. It's just people are so toxic that they're the ones that are saying that this guy is building or thriving off of toxicity, but yet they're still putting out more toxicity by talking shit about this guy. So it's okay for them to do it, but it's not okay for him to talk shit about a fucking segment that was shit.
Yeah, and that's why I fucking pinpointed out that AW light guy. Just fuck that guy.
Yeah, I got one too for Twitter. The controversy with mine was Tessa Blanchard and Becky Lynch, who have known each other for years. They were rosebuds together. And Tessa, all she did was put out, "Hey" to Becky Lynch, and then posted an old photo. Well, then Becky responds someday and does the wave. So now we're getting this match. She's now calling out Tessa Blanchard. Well, for one, Tessa Blanchard's in Impact till the summer of 2020. So she's not even coming to WWE anytime soon, if she even does come to WWE.
I don't think she'll ever come to WWE. I don't think WWE wants her because she is hard to work with.
Well, that, and she wants to do these intergender matches.
But then WWE doesn't want to do intergender.
Right. So it's like these people are friends outside of the wrestling business. They tweet each other. They have conversations about vacations. They go to their weddings. They go to their baby showers, whatever. And it's as soon as somebody puts something out, it's like everybody jumps on a bandwagon. This is happening. Mm-hmm. This is going to happen. And it's like, no, this is not going to happen. And I don't know where some people's mentality is. It's the same with the racist comments. Mm-hmm. Somebody puts something out there and it's that's a racial slur. That's a racist comment. It's the same thing with this Twitter with the Young Bucks. And the guy just put something very generic out there. It got tagged by other people. More than one person sent this, and they couldn't handle it. So they went off Twitter. And as we were talking before the show, but when Seth Rollins couldn't handle the hate, everybody was in their glory. He's a pussy. He left Twitter. You get the Young Bucks leaving Twitter, and your thoughts and prayers are with us as you try to deal with this negativity.
Okay, so since Ronnie brought it up, I'm going to talk about this. Look, then they have left Twitter, just to leave Twitter for a minute. But if they left Twitter because of the toxicity, you wanted your name on this fucking company. And you can't have the audacity to defend yourself. You know what that just tells me? You're pussies. You can't defend your company because, people are just so toxic. We're nice guys. Okay, you might be, but your name is on that fucking segment. I'm sorry. Your name is on that segment whether you produced it or not. You are an executive vice president. Cody's name is on it. Kenny Omega's name is on it. Tony Khan's name is on it. And your two guys' names are on it.
But I would say that segment's not even bad enough to run and hide. I have no idea why they left. Anything else that I'm going to say is pure speculation.
They left because their dad posted it on Twitter and said, we're leaving because of all they're leaving, they're taking time away because of the toxicity. Fine, but why? Because somebody criticized them or their company for one fucking thing?
How long have the Young Bucks operating in New Japan, for the most part, been golden boys of the indie scenes, where it's most love and support? You're not really getting killed. Yeah, you might get the negative comment here and there. The thing is, now you're here. You've created a company. You've promised a lot, and you've promised to communicate with the fans. The fans are who you're claiming is toxic because those are your fans, just like the people that aren't toxic. So you can't pick and choose which fans you communicate with because you got 50-50 out there. You got people that want to watch you and people that want to hate you. They're still watching you, but they hate you because they want to, yet they're still watching you. So you can't just say, I'm only here if you're going to give me a compliment, but if you're going to shut anything down against me, it's a toxic shithole. Listen, social media is a toxic shithole. We all know that it's bad, but the thing is, you don't have to take everything literally. And if you're going to run or be part of the running of a company, you should know this.
Well, that's anybody on Twitter. When you blatantly put something out there, you're putting personal stuff out there, you're putting your health woes, you're putting your personal life out there. Do you honestly think if you have an open Twitter that everybody is going to give you a positive comment? If you do, you are sadly mistaken how this world is today.
But
somebody will find some reason to bring you down further than what you already are, trying to get positive feedback, just to shit on what you've put out there.
I can't take them seriously ever again.
Well, in my mind, there is more reason than ever for someone like Nia Jax or I mean, I could name a bunch of people to leave Twitter, but being called out over a botched spot is legitimately like what I would have done if I was them. I would have just said, holiday season, taking a break from Twitter, be back later. Not because of the toxicity, I must end my Twitter account.
That's a mistake.
Like, you run a YouTube show. How are you going to not be on Twitter yet you want to run a YouTube show, and or just come out and say, because of being the elite and the demand that is AEW, I can no longer be on Twitter. I'll chime in every now and then, but for the most part, somebody else is taking over our Twitter accounts.
I wouldn't care. But why do you think
doing what they did is just seemed like you heard us.
In the wrestling business, there is one person that probably gets shit on more and has some of the people wishing death threats on him, fucking wanting to kill him. Vince fucking McMahon. And he sits on Twitter. That's why he has somebody run his Twitter account for him, and he doesn't fucking respond to anybody. He doesn't have to listen.
He's not out there for social interaction.
Yeah,
he interacts with people in real life.
He'll tweet out a happy birthday to
whoever
or whatever, or 25 years ago today, whatever. But you don't see him on there fucking, I'm gonna leave Twitter because people are picking on me. Get the fuck out of here. I've had worse said to me on fucking Twitter than the fucking Young Bucks have had said to them. Get the fuck out of here. Grow the fuck up. You run a fucking company. I'm sorry, but that just irks the shit out of me. It makes me not want to fucking watch the show. It's just telling me they're a bunch of fucking pussies and can't take the heat. Get out of the fucking kitchen.
It's the second iteration of Cry Wolf kind of idea for AEW, because if you the Kenny Omega thing, you remember that? With his bullshit about, we're running a charity stream, yet they want to go live at the same time. Yeah. So I've got like two things, and I don't know 100% why these guys left Twitter. It seems mostly like they left it because all of a sudden now it's a toxic. We make one misstep all of a sudden, and you've made many missteps. Let me just say that. But we make one misstep, and now it's a toxic environment. That's if they're putting out that and giving that as the reason why they're stepping away, then they can if they want to. But fuck sakes, man, I don't know. I see too many things on Twitter with AEW being like, we're for the fans, but when the fans talk, it's like, yeah, we're gonna step away.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You're a company. Why wouldn't you take the negatives and turn it into a positive? Okay, we got negative feedback on this. How can we correct this? How can we not make this mistake down the road? How can we have better camera angles? How can we, like Dustin Rhodes did, he reached out to the individuals, not mentioning any names, not throwing anybody under the bus. It's just, I have a wrestling school. Come see me. I'll show you how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of took it and kind of put the positive edge on it as, yeah, I was embarrassed by what happened, but let's try to make this better.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a company and you want positive feedback only. It doesn't work. Walmart gets shit on for shit. Target gets shit on for stuff that they put out.
Mm-hmm.
Take the negative and put the positive spin on it and say, how can we make this better? You're at least getting the feedback to say, you can do this better. Now the ball's in your court. Let's see if you can take it and run with it. Because they're still having audio issues.
I was just going to say.
That still seems to be a big issue.
Look, so instead of crying and saying, oh, they're hurting my feelings, Dad, can you put out on Twitter that we're leaving because of that toxicity? Because if that's what they did, they're still, I don't care. I'm making fun of them because they deserve to be made fun of because they're cowards. They're being cowards right now. They own a fucking company. They should be able to take any criticism that comes their way. Did they think that everybody was going to be positive? What the fuck? There were people out there.
Why didn't Cody leave?
There are people
Cody's
out there.
Still on Twitter. Why didn't Kenny Omega leave Twitter? Why is it just the Young Bucks? I know they produced.
This is what leads me to believe there's more going on here.
Right, and I think it may end up being because they even said Matt's last tweet even says we will see you on the Elite, so they're still going to do their podcast.
Yeah. I feel like there could be a work with it going on, and they could work it into being the Elite. I'm not gonna because it seems like such a minuscule thing that would force them to go away. I'm not gonna until we see where it pans out. And I also don't really give a shit if they're on Twitter or not.
I don't care.
But yeah, I have to see where it pans out, and then I'll go from there.
So instead of saying, "Oh my God, my feelings are hurt, I'm leaving Twitter," why don't you do something about it? Fix your audio issues. Don't blame the fucking Don't blame the fucking network. Say, "Hey, apparently we're having audio issues. Fix it." How about you're $1 billion? You said you were $1 billion company. You should be able to hire the best sound men that there is. Go out and hire the best sound men there is. Fucking have them. There's nothing wrong with asking advice. Hey, how do you guys get your sound? Because every once in a while you might, but very seldom does WWE have sound issues. I can hear them perfectly fine. I have my volume up to like 5 or 6 when I'm watching the show, and I can hear everything. It's clear as day. I get on AEW, and I gotta fucking turn my fucking TV up to 50 just to hear a word. They need to fix their sound issues now. They need to teach these motherfuckers, like Dustin Rhodes said. He took that step. Learn how to punch. Come to my school, and I'll teach you. It's not that hard. Throw a punch. If you ever punched anybody, you're in wrestling. You should have been able to throw a punch before.
Well, yeah, it's Wrestling 101. You would think.
Oh, fuck. Gizmo. The ass is rotten.
It was funny. But now it's turned into this, and these AEW toxic people on Twitter are coming to the defense saying that people are fucking ruining the company. No. People that fucking did the spot, the guy that did that spot, and the cameraman ruined that spot. Dustin Rhodes, I can't blame Dustin Rhodes for it. So it is what it is.
But, it's not even that bad. It's a botch, whatever, man. They happen every fucking day.
They happen all the time. But it was a badly worked situation.
I think it came at a bad time for AEW, kind of losing that honeymoon era, and this being one of the first shows that they had something like that. Plus, the show itself wasn't great, so people are going to shut in a bit more.
Yeah.
That, and we all agreed that segment made no sense.
No, that segment was trash. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let Ronnie do this because this is an Impact thing. Killer Kross.
Yes, the Impact has finally granted him his release.
Okay, so my thing is people are clamoring like the Emperor got destroyed in Return of the Jedi. They're celebrating this like it's the second coming of Jesus Christ. I've seen the guy wrestle one time. He's okay, but he's nothing that I would say. What is so much better about this guy than everybody else? I've only seen him wrestle one time.
I think mainly with what he went through, his main thing was it was right after the controversy with the blading, where he didn't want to blade in the last in
ring. Why would I want to watch him? Because I don't I've seen maybe 1 or 2 matches. It just he doesn't seem to be I understand the hype around AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, hell, even fucking fuckface that went to NWA. There's a certain amount of allure. Killer Kross, I don't know, man.
Right, and I think that's mainly why it's been because Impact didn't want to grant him his release. They had already released, Scarlett Bordeaux, who he dates. She's already gone. She's in NXT. And I guess when that all occurred at the one pay-per-view, then he asked for his release. Impact wouldn't grant it. They just had pay-per-views in areas where he was well known. They didn't even put him on the card. And I think when they finally did grant his release this week, that was, I guess, the relief on Twitter was finally he can now go, which everybody's speculating he's going to turn up at the Royal Rumble.
The funny thing is the fans think that they got him released. No, you motherfuckers, shut up. Why do fans think that they had any hand in anything that anybody does? They don't. It's the same thing that 2 weeks ago or a month ago or whatever, somebody did something. Oh, the Jim Cornette thing. And fucking everybody's like, oh, we finally did it. If it wasn't for us, Jim Cornette would still be hired by NWA. How the fuck do you know? You don't. Shut up.
I feel like the fans...
Shut up. You don't do shit.
The fans in a different era of wrestling had the ability to get somebody over that WWE or any other wrestling promotion didn't really plan on. Mm-hmm. And WWE attempted to take that away from the fans, yet tried to show that the fans still did it. And this is where the whole rebellion of the fans not giving a shit about anybody that they pushed happened. Mm-hmm. Because as soon as you take the little bit of the tiny bit of control that the fans have away, it's like, well, I mean, if you're just going to do whatever the fuck you want, then I'm just going to fucking boo you constantly.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened with Roman Reigns. It's exactly what happened with Seth Rollins. It's probably going to end up happening with Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the thing of it is, too, I mean, that wasn't the only thing with the negotiations. He had asked for a raise, and they didn't want to give it to him. And they did go back and forth on several occasions before they granted the release. They just could not come to terms. So when this all started back in the summer, when they were doing the negotiations, they had the controversy at Slammiversary with the blading. Everything just kept snowballing. Mm-hmm. And finally, like I said, when they finally did grant him his release, because they just both sides just couldn't come to an agreement. It wasn't, like JP said, it wasn't the fans that got him his release. It was negotiations broke down. He wasn't going to get what he wanted. They weren't going to get what they wanted. So why bother keeping somebody that you're not going to make any money with, or why stay with a company that you're not going to do anything for?
Did they ever make money with this guy, though?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying with him wanting more money, they didn't want to give it. That was part of just kind of like the snowball effect. Okay, my contract's coming up. I want more money. They didn't give it to him. Next thing was the incident with the Slammiversary pay-per-view. Then Scarlett, she's gone. He's not being booked properly in his eyes because of events that he should have been booked at, that he wanted to be because of hometown location or venues that he knew he would be over in. They didn't book him. So it was just like one thing after another. And it's just when communications break down like that, and it's anywhere, why continue butting heads? Just release the guy.
Because it's Impact. And right. Impact pretty much has followed the WWE model.
It's such a quality promotion.
WWE does the same thing, though. It's like, oh, you're not going to re-sign? All right, we're basically going to bury you until you leave and you have no value. Right. And then we're going to keep you from wrestling for 90 days.
WWE did the same thing. Look how they butted heads with, and they finally let him go, Brody Lee, Luke Harper. They finally did. Okay, you're gone. I mean, they could have kept him. Well, but it's just like, why bother keeping talent you're not going to use? Let him go. I mean, WWE has people on that roster that they should just let go. We've said that.
But the thing with Luke Harper, I don't think there was much about it. Hey, he asked for the release, and there was really no backlash or anything of that sort from him.
And right, but why keep him when they weren't even you ended up using him, but they weren't really using him. Well, so it's like we're just going to let your contract run out. They came to some sort of agreement because they did let him go. So, I mean, everybody has, I guess, a point where it's not viable for anybody. And I mean, if you're just going to sit there and butt heads every time in 90 days you're going to review the contract, or every 60 days you're going to review the contract negotiations, it's pointless. You're beating a dead horse.
But here's the thing. It's like a football player, right? I want out of my contract. No. We're going to hope, because they can't just release you from your contract. They could, but guess what? They'd have to pay it out. So if they release him from, if they agree to terms on the release, depending upon those terms, they have to pay out some sort of monies to these guys. And why? And I agree with WWE in this matter. Why should WWE be forced to pay out money to people that don't want to fucking work there?
It's hard for me to believe that.
I'd make them sit there.
It's hard for me to believe that if the wrestler wants to terminate their contract with WWE, that WWE still has to pay them. That's like, I want to quit, yet I'm still under contract. Can I quit? Well, it says here in contract that we still have to pay you everything we owe you, which seems a ridiculous misstep.
I'm not saying everything. They buy it out. That doesn't mean that they have to pay it. What I'm saying is they probably, in a football contract in the NFL, they, like, if they fire a coach or whatever, or release a coach, they have to pay out a certain amount of money. I'm not saying the whole contract.
I think if you release or fire somebody, yes, but if somebody's willing to come to you and say, let me go, it should pretty much be part of the contract saying, if that person is let go, they leave with the earnings that they made, and that's it. Because I can't, like, that's basically quitting a job.
True.
Yeah, all was reported with him is that him and Impact came to an agreement after months of back and forth talks, and the two sides opted to part ways. That's all that was basically said. It didn't say.
And essentially, if they agreed to something, that means there was monetary,
right. There was a negotiation of, okay, we'll let you out of the contract, but so.
Because from what we heard before all this, he hadn't been paid for events that he had worked.
Right, and that was not just him. There were others in that company that weren't paid either.
Which they've for
which is they're notorious.
Years have had troubles paying their employees.
Right.
Yeah, and then you got fucking Joey Ryan signing a lifetime contract. That makes sense.
I don't even want to fucking talk about that fucking goon. Yeah, so Killer Kross got released. Good for him. I can tell you right now, I do agree with Cardinal said it. He's going to end up in NXT.
I feel like it, but I have to say I literally don't give a fuck if he wrestles again.
I don't know how.
I don't know anything about the guy. I've never seen him to be super invested with him. Well, I probably saw him wrestle a couple times, but that's it. And he never really stood out to me as this, oh my God, he's going to change the business. There is literally right now no wrestler on the planet that's in a position to move from one company to another that's going to change the business.
No, there's nothing. There's nobody. Nobody. No, not anybody. Not even Chris Jericho.
Well, he didn't change the business, but he helped the company he went with. There's no such thing as like a mega talent anymore that's not already part of a company that'll never leave. Yeah, but also part of something I think they'll never leave.
Hulk, I can honestly say that Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair are really the only ones that ever did something like that.
Stone Cold, The Rock, like they were like, and then we haven't had anything since that.
Really. Stone Cold and The Rock didn't go anywhere else. They've always been with them.
No, but they were like the last like group of guys that could have like changed the landscape by moving somewhere.
True, maybe. I'm more The Rock.
Even from what I've seen too, now the question is, does WrestleMania need John Cena?
It's gonna happen.
He's coming back in the Rumble. He's not shooting any more movies.
Who cares?
He grew his hair out.
If John Cena, and I've said this before, if John Cena shows up, he still has something in the tank that he can give.
She doesn't want John Cena, man. I'm telling you that right now.
I want John Cena.
We know how you feel about John Cena. If John Cena showed up at your door, you'd probably get on your knees and suck his dick.
I'd love to see like him come back. Yeah, what I want to see from the Rumble is the build for Mania started. I want to see John Cena come back and be eliminated by somebody he's going to face at WrestleMania. Make it somebody good. Make it like Bray Wyatt, some shit, man. Fuck. Make it somebody that could actually have for a good feud up until Mania. And then I want to see a couple surprises. I think John Morrison is going to be one of those guys.
Mm-hmm. But it's not really a surprise. But
yeah, well, I think Edge is going to enter and win everything.
It's going to be Humberto.
So there is one more thing that I want to talk about, and that is the ratings. Now, NXT beat pretty handily AEW. 125,000 people. Again, I take these viewerships with a grain of salt because they're not true numbers. But those that have Nielsen boxes, those are where those numbers are coming from. And, of course, both declined again.
But I will say, you look at AEW, and they started off shooting fat loads all over the place. So hardcore matches, unsanctioned matches, ladder matches. Fuck it, we're going to throw the world at everything. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, I kind of ran it to come.
Yes, sir.
And that's where the run it to come stage is where they should have started and exploded every now and then instead of just fucking blasting the world with badness.
Yeah, it's... So, but moreover, I want to talk about Raw and SmackDown. So here's the thing.
God, no.
I know. But I actually went and looked at Raw's ratings last week. And on cable TV, just cable TV, I'm not even talking about fucking Fox, regular cable TV. WWE Monday Night Raw was the 4th highest rated show on TV last Monday.
What was the other 3?
Fox News. 3 million. I think the highest rated show was 3 million. There are people, I'm going to tell you right now, people are not watching, and this is my point. People are not watching TV.
There's a generation that relies on it right now, and that generation is slowly going away.
Say it again, Basement. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say in the next 10 to 15 years, TV, those numbers are going to drop so severe that everything's going to be a streaming service of some form, and everybody will be assigned to certain things. Because like TV... like they're relying on like the 60 plus age group that religiously watch television. Outside, the only other thing that's keeping them afloat are sports fans. Yep. And that's a big number of people. But are you willing to shell out, $60 to $70 a month to watch sports? That's a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's not even all the sports.
Yeah, because it's funny down here in Florida when the cable goes out. The old people are just, they're constantly, they're on Twitter, Facebook.
Give her a Canadian Destroyer.
4 hours. I can't watch The Price is Right. And then
I mean, there's people that love those type of shows.
Shows are interrupted. But I mean, streaming, a lot of people do. You said they're cutting the cable cord and they're going to streaming services. They're watching YouTube clips.
I feel like a lot of even streaming in general is it's the heyday for streaming, but at the same time, it's like I've had Netflix for a long time, and Netflix started very strong, and has now just become another fucking channel. That's it. Like you might get something good on there, but most of the time it's shit.
Right.
It's just another version of seeing television.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, it is what it is. I don't think it's not going to bode well for anything that's trying to get off the ground that doesn't have relations with the big it's going to go from the big telecommunication companies to like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, all fighting it out.
Yep. Look, and this is why I wanted to bring this up. People are not, or it could be people are getting out of the house again. People aren't staying.
I don't
home.
think so. I think that's the opposite of what's happening.
I got you, but I'm just saying that could be one of the things. There are people are doing more than just watching. So I'm going to say this to those people that say you can't blame the ratings. You can't blame the shitty ratings on fucking anything. Fuck you. Yes, you can. Because it's happening. If the highest rated show, which I watch Hannity, I've watched it. I actually kind of enjoy Hannity. 3 million people are watching Hannity, and 2 million, and it's only by like just a little over 1 million. So people are still watching wrestling. It's still one of the highest rated cable shows on TV. And it's just people aren't fucking watching wrestling anymore, people. It's just that fucking simple. There's more to do. There's more options than fucking wrestling nowadays. And when the Attitude Era ended, people said, okay, so now what? That's why you're seeing the Lana and Rusev segments, because they're trying to drive them people back in. But they don't want to see that anymore. They can get that with Temptation Island. So they're watching that instead.
Man, that was trending big time Thursday night.
Well, it's unfortunate, but I think like wrestling there was an opportunity for wrestling to kind of realize where a lot of people have evolved as viewers, and a lot of people they went with the tried and true model of reality TV, soap operas, because they looked at them and said they'd live forever, not like shows that had huge viewership engagement, but only for like 5 seasons or 6 seasons. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, they fell into the same boat as anything that's on all the time. I would prefer a lot more if wrestling had seasons. I'm okay with not watching wrestling for a couple months just to have it be better when I watch it.
Yep. I mean, the AEW started because how did they say it? Cody Rhodes, he said
they want an alternative to what's out there or some shit.
No, he said something like, I think it was, we seen what wrestling was and we wanted to change, or something like that.
We wanted to change
by becoming it.
We wanted to be something different. Okay, that's fine, but what are you going to do to draw in new fans? And that's the only way. That is the only way that you're ever going to see wrestling at the very top of the hill. And whether AEW does it or WWE does it, both shows are going to grow because of it, if that is the case. I don't see that happening because wrestling has peaked. Wrestling peaked during the Attitude Era, just a little thereafter. Once John Cena left, wrestling essentially went away.
But here's the thing. I actually think like wrestling is still watched on a pretty wide scale.
Yeah.
And I do think like both WWE and AEW have done the smart things. WWE making their own network was basically a way where they didn't need to really produce a regular TV show because they're still going to get subscribers to the network for the things that people mostly want to see. Mm-hmm. Old shit and their pay-per-views. Yeah. And some of their original content, where AEW is going with YouTube because that's tried and true way of making money when you're popular or famous. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I feel like they're both kind of prepared for the collapse of cable, because I think like cable. I don't think cable is not going to exist. I think the viewership numbers are going to continue to dwindle over time, especially when you see the people that are 60 and older not be part of this world anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope. I totally agree.
The other thing is too, you're paying $9.99 a month for the WWE Network, which includes pay-per-views, where AEW pay-per-views are $50, which that has.
They only have.
And that was one of the things that they said that they were going to do with the fans.
Well, this is why they're doing 4 of them a year, because otherwise they'd have to lower the price and get a provider that's willing to do it. This is honestly why I think they settled on 4 a year, because 4 a year seems like such a not great number for the roster they have to actually fill multiple months of content that's leading to something.
Right. I agree.
I don't even think it was when John Cena left. I think it was when, as soon as WWE bought out WCW, some people were like, okay, no more competition, we're not have to watch anymore. Like you said,
that's essentially why people were watching. They were watching to see what WCW, which one would collapse. And once one did, it was over. And that essentially wrestling started dying out pretty much right at that time.
It's like fucking watching baseball when there's only one team.
Right.
For fuck's sake. So
it wasn't even just WCW, it was ECW too. And then even when TNA started, they weren't on regular TV. They were on pay-per-view weekly or whatever it was for 2 hours. That didn't even work, so they had to drop to a penny. And then that didn't work, so then they had to work with Fox Sports. Now they've been bouncing back and forth to every single network until they got to what is it? HD Network, where it's called.
Well, WWE tried to make it work by putting like Shane McMahon's gonna be the owner of WCW, and there's like, but like the problem is though you put anybody in control, it just WCW became another WWE show,
right?
Regardless how you do it.
And then they tested the Wallers, but the bad thing was, who did they test the Wallers with? Buff Bagwell and Booker T, and the crowd shit on it. And they didn't, and TNN got cold feet and said, fuck this. We're not doing it. We have a contract with you guys. We're not going to do WCW, just lose it out on it. So then that all went up in smoke.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do for a product is eliminate your competitors, because especially a product that's sports entertainment, there's no sport that really fucking flourishes without a competitor.
Right. That's why all these people are like, I want WWE to die. I want TNA to die. I want AEW to die. It's like, you don't want those companies to die, because it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, because WWE's the only one left that's going to implode.
We can do without Impact, I think.
I want WWE to stop being the fucking Walmart of wrestling is what I want. Because as long as they're that, it's always going to stay the same.
Oh, and the other thing is, too, and we said it with the Twitter, if you're going to get negative feedback, take that negative feedback, no matter what company you are, and turn it into a positive to something that correct your issue or correct the way the products run. And WWE tries to an extent, but they just go overboard. And they give the fans what they want, but it's not the way the fans want it, nor is it the way the fans expect it. They're going to give it to you to a certain point.
Because it seems like it's a person that's not a fan and doesn't even know what the fuck's happening in the company half the time.
Right.
That seems to be making this decision. The board of directors seem to be like, well, we hear a lot of things in this market. In the 24 to 27, they really want this. And they really want that. So we're going to deliver, but we're going to deliver immediately, right away. And as soon as it's popular, we're going to kill it, because we're going to keep delivering it until nobody cares.
Right.
Publicly traded company that was when WWE died.
Yep.
Right, and JP's brought this up too with the demographics, the 18 to 34 demographic, which is what, for someone my age, JP's age, we're in the older demographic from that. And Austin this week did not even watch AEW. He watched NXT. After what he saw the week before, knowing what was coming up this week on AEW, and because we did the show on AEW, he would just check in, is anything decent happening? Is anything going on? And he preferred watching NXT this week just because of what they were going to give us, which ended up, in his eyes, a better show than what AEW was giving in the past. And he's in that 18 to 34 demographic.
Yeah, but AEW is taking a huge misstep. As soon as they blew their load and they became, we're going to do 4 shows a year, pay-per-views, they thought they could continue to coast in the fan base that they've created with, 4 pay-per-views and 2 months of shows to be like, yeah, we're going to start putting out filler. We're going to start putting out things that people could watch, but if there's something better on, they won't watch. You need to fucking come hard for a year, and they did not.
It is true.
And I am getting to the point now where I do, in fact, worry about AEW because they're at that brink where I can see on Twitter people that have been fans of them. They're not shitting on them, but they're not saying anything about them.
Right.
And then the silence speaks volume.
Right, and I mean, that was 12 weeks of TV this year that they did. Well, they're not doing a show next week, so you might as well say 10 to 11 weeks of shows that they did.
Yep, and that's what worries me because it's pretty much a company-wide blackout for a week. They're not going to do dark. They might do Being the Elite, but that's about it. And like we've said, are people going to go out of their way to tune into that? I know some people would. I mean, that's cool. But then you got people who might turn on the TV on Wednesday and where they're going to see where they do a Christmas Story 24 hours a day, which I think it is. So,
right.
But if they don't see AEW, are they going to think, oh, well, I don't have to tune in this week. I'll try and tune in next week. And then what if they forget? Then they're going to lose some of their audience again.
Well, this is where they need to capitalize on the absences of time. If you're not going to put on a show, if you're going to take a 2-week hiatus, you need to put something out there in your last show to get people remembering why they want to watch you in 2 weeks. You're so new that you can't rely on them coming back in droves if you put on a show like they put on.
Exactly. Put on like a year, not the year in review, but like what happened in AEW October through December. You could put on a year, quarter. They really
needed Marty Scurll, to be honest.
Yes. Well, what they should have done was they should have said, okay, no new show this week, but if you tune in Wednesday afternoon, we'll have not a year in review, but a year in review, what they call it. But that's like you get people ready, and then you can have a course where, hey, we'll be back next week. Here's what happened before, so you can get caught up. They're not even doing that.
Well, I strongly feel they needed, like, this last AEW needed, like, a swerve or at least something to hook me because it literally did the opposite. It wasn't a great show. And bottom line is, like, they haven't given me a reason to come back to watch again. If you ever see, like, a mid-season premiere for those shows that run really long, they usually end in a cliffhanger because that's how you get people back. That's why I say they really needed Marty Scurll. They needed somebody that's well known by their audience to come out and be like, this is why you're going to come back in 2 weeks.
Right. And I know nobody cares, but that's what impacted this week because their last show was Tuesday night and they ended it with Tessa and Sammy fighting outside leading up to Hard to Kill, which is on the 10th of January. But what they're doing is part 1 will be this coming Saturday, and then part 2 will be the following, where they're going to do a year-end best of 2019.
Yep.
So it'll be a 2-parter, which will lead into their Hard to Kill pay-per-view weekend.
Right,
which
and they always
3 events that whole weekend, getting them back into when they go live again on 1/7.
Right, and TNA always does every year, which I think is very smart. They do the year in review, and then even not only that, but I know people bitch about WWE. But what is WWE doing this Wednesday? Year-end awards with NXT, and they've even got some matches they've taped after SmackDown, which I'm not gonna go into detail because I don't do spoilers. I like spare people. JP,
right? But did you just say TNA? TNA don't exist anymore.
Or Impact. I'm so used to calling them TNA.
I'm 100% sure Trek just did like an 8-ball of Coke.
I did something because he just said my name. What did you say?
All of a sudden hit 12:30. He's like,
what did you just say about me? What?
Yeah, he said you spoil shit because it's true. You know it.
No, I don't know.
I saw that.
I plead the fifth.
I put it in the writer's room where it was spoilers, and then somebody put JP veering off, and then no spoilers was straight ahead.
What did I do? So
the spoiler,
no I thought you just talked about the year-end awards thing.
Why doesn't WWE do like the best matches of the year? And
that's what they do sometimes. They're
bullshit.
Gonna kind of do that on NXT this weekend with new matches, but they're gonna have. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have some best of 2019 matches too on there. The year-end awards and stuff that they're gonna do for NXT.
Right, because I know they had polls out: vote for best of, vote for match of, vote for wrestler of. So, I mean, they'll somehow incorporate it, but, I mean, like Basement was saying, I mean, AEW just went to what we got at the end of that show. We're not getting a show this week until January 1st when they'll be at Dowley's place in Jacksonville.
Best punch of the year.
All I got out of AEW was honestly, I guess Dark Order is going to be the top faction.
Yeah, they've been pushing them really hard, and I don't understand why you don't understand that you can't push a faction on a guy in a mask and a guy that's part of a different fucking group because he's part of the Viking Raiders.
Especially with 20 flunkies in the ring throwing fake punches. It's like, I'm sorry, but it feels like late NWO to me when nobody wanted to get beat up by the NWO, so they all join the NWO, and it feels unimportant and boring.
The problem is they have Humpty Dumpty in a mask. That is their leader.
Well, and I think what it's going to end up being, too, somebody's going to join that faction. Not like they did this week, where the ones came out without the masks, who, when they were on Being the Elite, you saw them discussing joining them. But there's going to eventually be someone that's going to join that faction, probably going to be hooded, that's going to remove it. And to me, what they did when they just handed the guys the mask, here, put on, this was your initiation. Again, it was 20-some guys beating up on 6 elite guys.
Well, it was the tail of the tape of, we're going to show you something, and you're going to be not surprised or care.
Not only that, but Luchasaurus took those guys out, 3 weeks ago?
Right.
I mean, he took them out by one. Not only that, but what happened to that part right before Luchasaurus came back when they were threatening to put the mask on Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt? I mean, and they were screaming, no, no, no. I mean, is it supposed to be that they put the mask on and you become their minion immediately? You become brainwashed immediately? So then, I don't get it. It seems like they've gone ass backwards with it now.
Well, that too, but like JP doesn't watch Being the Elite. So the guys standing there in the ring without the masks on to see what they did on Being the Elite, where for 2 weeks they were tired of losing. They would go backstage and show these guys watching the Dark Order promos, but then you see them Wednesday night getting the masks.
Hold on. These 2 guys that I've never seen wrestle were sick of losing.
No, they had wrestled. They were losing in the matches that they were in.
So if they were essentially they were jobbers.
Right.
See, that's why I don't care. That's why I don't care. So why do I need to watch Being the Elite when jobbers are involved? I don't care.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If you're watching Being the Elite, but then you watched Wednesday's show, you're looking at these guys like, who the hell are these people? Why are they joining the Dark Order when for 2 weeks they were on AEW Dark or on the Elite,
right,
watching those promos for Dark Order, you see them take the slips of paper or you see them take the flyer that they've posted along with others in the Elite, such as Kenny, such as Michael Nakazawa. You hear Adam Page saying he's tired of losing. So you're getting that backstory that you're only seeing parts of it on the show.
Dark Order always loses, so I don't understand. A loser joining a loser team. I don't understand.
Right, that's their promo. When you see them doing those little things.
Here's my thing. Ren and Stimpy could have joined the Dark Order and I wouldn't give a shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for that group,
I feel like Hangman Page is such a weird choice to be the leader of the Dark Order. I don't know. His character goes against it 100%.
I don't think me watching Being the Elite, because they would have had those two guys on there, and then they would have showed up, I'd have been like, okay. I wouldn't have given a shit. Being the Elite doesn't.
The surprise factors that they've had, remember, okay, so I'm going to go back. Remember when AEW just started? Well, they were only going to show 60 or 30% of their roster. They still got 70% in the back. A bunch of people. I'm like, why in the fuck do they have 70% of the roster in the back and they're paying them to just sit there? And then the reveals we got were Jack Hager was the biggest one, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else after that was what exactly?
Yeah,
we got Blade and Butcher, I didn't know who the fuck they were, and they did a pretty poor job of telling me. And these two random fucking lesbians that are now joining fucking Dark Order.
And like I said, I don't think of them as threatening because you had a guy. How big is Luchasaurus? What, 6'8"?
No, he's 6 foot.
6'5".
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you, JP. He's the same size as Damian Priest.
He came out and kicked the shit out of the Dark Order, which was pretty much like 10 guys.
We had this conversation once.
And
then we're supposed to take the Dark Order seriously when they come out with 20 guys beating up 6 when Luchasaurus kicked your ass 2 weeks ago.
But their head honcho is like some fucking egg-shaped dude in a fucking mask. It just doesn't work. Which is why I put on Twitter, I'm like, get Mil Muertes. At least he already has the fucking mask and is a big dude.
It should be the guy from those infomercial things that they're showing. Let him be the spokesman.
I'm okay with them having a spokesman that doesn't wrestle. But have somebody that make that link. Because all I'm seeing is a big dude in a lucha fucking face mask and part of the fucking Viking Raiders as your team.
And then some guys who make themselves a couch so he could sit his fat ass down on them.
Yeah, it's not connecting at all with me. I like their promos. I hate their team.
Yeah, I could give a shit. Because essentially Dark Order is essentially them too. And they're the only ones that are going to be allowed to win. But then again, they never win. So why do I give a shit about it?
Right.
Every fucking team that exists on AEW recruiting somebody.
But I don't feel I should have, again, and I'm going to stand by this till they stop doing it. I don't need to watch Being the Elite. I shouldn't have to watch Being the Elite to see what they're doing on AEW Dynamite. They have enough time. Instead of doing half-hour matches and 20-minute fucking promos to fucking tell me why in the fuck the Young Bucks are acting like fucking idiots with this merch freak bullshit.
Well, they've got a roster of like 30 to 35 men, and they've got like 3 gigantic factions already.
Yeah.
Every faction is at least 2 to fucking 10 people. Like how can you just be? Is it going to be faction wars?
Well, to be
honest, I literally don't care about any of them. So
SCU is a faction.
Yep.
We get the Librarian and the Librarian.
They're kind of
Jungle Express.
The Jungle Express is a faction.
But they don't have any like very little like standalone singles talents. They have John Moxley.
That's it.
They're trying to get to join the Inner Circle.
And Joey Janela, he's never going anywhere.
Right, and Shawn Spears is looking for a tag team partner.
Well, Shawn Spears is
better as Ty Dillinger, and I'll fight anybody that says otherwise.
I agree with you.
Everybody's like, let this guy go. Let this guy go. We're seeing him go. How good is that? I kind of enjoyed him a bit more as Ty Dillinger.
Not only that, but and what do they want to do next year? They want to make that second show. It's like, how are you going to make a second show when you can't even get the first show doing well?
Well, the thing is, they do not have the roster for a second show.
Well, the second show, they did say that it was going to be a podcast with Tony Schiavone, and it's going to be similar to Dark. So I don't know what they're looking to do, but that was put out on their Twitter that it's going to start out as a podcast with Tony Schiavone hosting it, and it would be along the line.
Honestly, I think they need to fix their fucking issues within their show before they decide to fucking do a podcast.
I 100% want them to be successful because I think the wrestling world is better with competition. But at the same time, it's like you came in promising a lot of things, but you came in amateur hour.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all these technical issues.
You're good. Sorry, I was telling Heather something. I want them to succeed too, but they need to fix their issues before they do. Well, let's do a podcast. Well, let's do that. You're turning into WWE. Let's just do this, and this, and hopefully that'll fix this.
Let's become a multimedia conglomerate before we can even sell a show. Like there's certain things I absolutely love about AEW. There's certain things I don't love, but I don't think anybody at this point in time should be able to sit still and be like, oh, they're figuring things out. No, they need to have figured things out. I would never launch a fucking on-camera company and be like, well, I hope they realize I have to figure things out for 6 months before I know how sound works or when to not show something, or the fact that my women's division is comprised of like 3 women and a man.
Yeah, I know. It is. I'm shooting at the hip. I wouldn't just do a podcast because whatever. I personally would fix my shit. I would, for these guys, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck. I want them to succeed, but god damn it. Don't fucking say you're going to do shit and then don't fucking do it. And then trying to promise the world and everybody's buying into your fucking bullshit, and then it comes to find out next year that you can't fulfill your promises, and then what? Well,
then you're TNA.
One of the worst things they did is put Cody Rhodes in a match that he created a stipulation for that didn't need it. Why would you purposely take your basically on par number 1 guy and say he can't compete for a title?
Right.
Because they want that shock value, which he said went out the window. I'm like, they're doing what, and I don't like use this analogy. They're making the mistakes that TNA did instead of making the successes that WWE did.
I don't want them to be a WWE clone, and I feel like they need to find that delicate balance where they're not WWE, but they pull from WWE just like they pull from New Japan. I wanted to see a New Japan and WWE hybrid. And I haven't yet seen it. So, fuck them.
Yeah. Well, that and the other thing is, we have said, too, we didn't want to see the elite guys holding the belts. They have put them on individuals that are not part of the elite, but there's going to come a point where they're going to have to put them on either the Young Bucks or some belt for Cody or some belt for Kenny. So they're going to have to, at some point, step up and take a title run.
No, I don't mind them taking the title run because, honestly, I think one of them, if he could fucking talk, which is debatable, and I think everybody knows which one I'm talking about, he could be a champion, but they haven't. I don't
I mean, his character, for him to be a champion, he needs to win and stay winning, and his whole character will be built off what he does in the ring, just like New Japan.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's a deer in the headlights anytime he speaks. For some reason, the guy has to blast his eyes out and talk really fast, like he's on fucking crack cocaine.
I don't know, man. I want him to succeed, but I'm really they're teetering for me.
This is where I stand strong in what I said, man. I wanted Kenny Omega to leave New Japan, go to WWE, sign a 2-year contract, because I'm pretty sure at that point in time, they would have signed him to a 1-year. They would have signed him to anything at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's fucking dead in the water, mid-card of a fucking promotion that doesn't have a mid-card. He could have fucking flourished in 2 years in WWE television, been a lot better than what he currently is, and helped that product that much more.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, they decided to not go strategic and decided to be like, hey, just join us, whatever. We'll make you lose, and we're going to pretend you're going crazy, and then we're not. And what the fuck is happening, man?
No. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to hang out with your friends. I get that that's why he signed with them. He wanted to hang out with his friends. But there's something to be said about getting to the biggest stage in the world and showing people that you can do this. Look what happened with AJ Styles. He got in there, and from second one, he got the biggest pop in the reaction of the Royal Rumble, and he was in there for God knows how long, and he wasn't treated like a joke. I always feel like they're going to treat Omega like a joke and stuff like that. I don't think they would. I think
Kenny Omega showing up in the Royal Rumble, the sheer amount of fucking wet pants in that stadium would be ridiculous. During his heyday as the best in the world in New Japan, that's when people from America started watching New Japan, and everybody knew who he was. He didn't strike while iron was hot. He's like, it's cool, whatever. But like the thing that kills me is like he might want to do this, but the fact that he could actually help AEW by doing it and didn't do it is just like whatever.
Yeah, man, it's like not even at the Royal Rumble, that night after WrestleMania, the lights go out and he's in the ring when they come back on. The worldwide shit you have heard people take his shit in their pants would have been worth it. It didn't have to be at the Royal Rumble. It could have been the night after WrestleMania when they're supposed to make a hell of an impact. The night after WrestleMania, Omega shows up in the ring, people would have lost their fucking minds.
I would have loved to see Omega come out in the Royal Rumble at 30 and have AJ Styles in the ring and have him beat his ass.
I think Trek just lost his mind. Battery did do it.
I'm telling you, man, he's been doing coke on the side.
I have the most ratings from TLC if y'all want to hear them.
Sure. But I can't wait to hear the fucking.
I was going to say,
I can't fucking wait for this shit. Go ahead,
Cardinal, guys. Just saying.
Say again?
I'm going to add Sir Cardinal.
Okay. Go ahead. Apparently, they're great fucking ratings.
Didn't we go over these and they're fucking ridiculous?
Hobbit.
Alrighty. The first match we have is Humberto Carrillo versus Andrade. 3.25 stars.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
It was mediocre at best, but okay.
You got a bloody face.
Bobby Lashley versus Rusev, 1.5 stars.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But, okay, as much as I hate Bobby Lashley, I don't think Bobby Lashley's that great. I feel like he's a guy that could work in like a John Cena-like role, where he's a rock soldier. I also think Rusev is that way too. A lot of people love this guy, and then, like he has the charisma and the comedic chops to work. Mm-hmm. But do you really want to see Bobby Lashley versus fucking Rusev ever? What's up, Cardinal?
What's up, Cardinal?
Hey, Cardinal. What's up, folks? What's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. Just sitting here listening to these wonderful Meltzer ratings.
What'd you think of TLC, my good friend?
I have not watched 1 second.
You don't have to.
And you shouldn't, because it's fucking terrible.
Let me get this. Let me just say this. I have not watched Raw or SmackDown in about a month. I read spoilers or read results every single week.
I mean, that's SmackDown the best way to last night was not too bad, but it wasn't great.
It's like taking a half liquid shit.
It's unbearable. I can't stand it anymore.
I can't stand Raw at all. And SmackDown is like pretty much at that point for me. NXT and AEW, I can stand. I mean, NXT is fucking good, and AEW is pretty good. So,
yeah, I just watch Wednesdays.
But we're going through the Meltzer ratings for TLC. This should be fun.
Go ahead, Bob.
All right.
Wendy's waving at everybody. Say hi.
Next up, we have Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. 3.5 stars.
Oh my god.
How was that the same as Humberto Carrillo versus fucking Ass Blaster 2000?
That one was 3.25. But
I think Meltzer's on crack.
Wendy. Rey Mysterio. Wendy. Rey Mysterio.
Wendy. Rey Mysterio. No, you don't dance.
No, she's just jamming. She's jamming. She
Wendy.
usually gets
Rey Mysterio. That's what we always say.
She's like, fuck that
Rey
guy.
Mysterio. Oh, she won't. She better.
All right, so I will say on TLC's card, Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy had the best match, easy. I didn't see the pre-show, but to rate the pre-show match even close to the main card, I mean, sometimes they have good matches. And I have no doubt think that Humberto Carrillo and fucking Andrade could have a good match. I don't know. What's it for, and who cares?
All right. Next up, we have The New Day versus The Revival. 3.75 stars.
I don't understand that, man. That match was weird to me. It wasn't terrible, but it was just like spot to spot type deal.
This was absolutely the worst pay-per-view ever.
Oh god, I don't know, man. Monster Truck Mayhem.
For WWE. Go ahead, Bobby.
The Viking Raiders versus the OC. 1.5 stars.
What was that?
1.5 stars.
No. What was the match?
The Viking Raiders versus the OC.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened again on Raw. And yeah. What do you think of the Viking Raiders?
I hate them.
Really?
I want them to take on the Chicago Cubs again. You remember those jobbers a few weeks ago? They took on the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. That's eventually what fucking Pride and Prideful became.
Terrible.
They became the White Sox. No, I think like I actually think like the Viking Raiders are going to be the next fucking Ascension. As in, they're going to be released 5 years after doing nothing for 4 years.
What's next, Bobby?
We have the Big Dog versus King Corbin. 1.75 stars.
The match was a little better than that, but whatever.
But was it? It was a TLC match where it might not have been. Like, what the fuck? And also, didn't Corbin win after he got 99% of the roster to come out and attack Roman Reigns?
Well, of course, because 99% of the roster needed to come out. It's Roman Reigns, for fuck's sake.
It's too strong.
What's next, Bobby?
Alrighty. Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. They got dud.
Good, because it deserved a dud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck Bray Wyatt.
That was a terrible match. What do you think of Bray Wyatt, Cardinal?
I like The Fiend, but I don't like Bray Wyatt.
I don't even like The Fiend. I just cannot get behind his character at all.
I liked it originally. I just feel like they've misstepped time and time again. I feel like they settled for the short game instead of playing the long game with that character, and it kind of hurt it in the long run.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing with his opponents, though, making them stupid and crazy.
Just like the fans.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. The Miz and Daniel Bryan becoming like besties after hating each other a year ago. It's still kind of weird to me. Plus, this made no sense. The Miz was like he was legit acting for the Marine 10. Like the whole time, the guy's like, "I'm trying out for my part in Days of Our Lives." He's like crying and super serious, and then all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt comes, "Hey guys, I'm Eugene."
What's next, Bob?
All right, the last match we have Becky and Charlotte versus the Kabuki Warriors. 2.25 stars.
I give it 0.
It was really bad. And what was the ladder match? The tag team ladder match? What did that get?
That was that looked good.
What was the ladder match? Was that the SmackDown or Raw one?
It was the New Day versus whatever. It was like 3.5 or something.
Okay, it got 3.75 stars.
No way.
That was the best match of the night.
That was the best match of the night. Get the fuck out of here.
No, it was great. I fucking loved it.
No, you didn't. Don't lie.
I thought it was pretty bad, but it was actually bad. I'm not gonna lie.
The best match on that card was Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. Dave Meltzer, you can go fuck yourself about that.
Yeah, because it was a wrestling match on a card filled with fucking bullshit.
But he's always bitching about they don't give us enough fucking wrestling, and then they give you a wrestling match, a good wrestling match, and he shits on it. Shut the fuck up. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a fan, like you said it the other night, he's a fan service for himself. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, Meltzer's a fucking retard. I don't know. I didn't like the fucking tag match at all. I thought it was slow as fuck. Spot to spot. Definitely Aleister Black's match was the best match of the night.
Worst pay-per-view of 2019. No, the worst match of 2019?
No, it was the best match. Don't lie.
Undertaker versus Goldberg was the worst match of 2019.
Yeah.
Undertaker versus Goldberg. What do you think?
He's not wrong. That was pretty shit.
I felt like it was one of the better matches.
Oh God, I'm leaving.
He's so kidding. You should
I watched it like 3 times.
Me and Basement watched that match sober and drunk, and I think we were more pissed off drunk than we were sober, and we were laughing at the match.
It was not a good one. It's definitely not a good one. It's probably the worst of the year. I'm going to say 100%.
But for all you people out there saying, well, I mean, they had a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. No. How this TLC was fucking way worse. Way worse.
At least the Saudi Arabian had like some build going into it and some like intrigue of something you wouldn't see. This had like they didn't know what to end it with, so they ended it with fucking Concussion Fest.
They ended it with Roman Reigns knocking people over like dominoes.
Yeah, actually it did end. And I said, you watch Roman Reigns, he's gonna spear somebody and an entire section's gonna collapse. And that's exactly what happened at the end of that show.
It actually ended with Roman Reigns jumping off a fucking scaffold to spear fucking Baron Corbin into like the rest of the wrestlers. It was just terrible.
It was cool.
TLC was really bad. Don't watch it.
I'm gonna start watching it.
All right, let's watch it. I'm down. Let's do it.
Get your beer ready. Get the tequila ready.
I'm ready to watch it right now. I already got it loaded up, and then
I'm ready to fall asleep. So maybe it'll help.
You need to be hammered to watch that shit.
Forget it.
Get it. I thought we were watching it, man. I gotta load it up.
Delete.
Man, that's fucking good shit. It's good shit.
This week has been one of the most newsworthy weeks, especially Twitter-wise. The Young Bucks. I say it every week. Look, and I'm going to talk about the ratings. Even though the ratings, to be honest with you, the ratings, I don't care about the ratings. If people are more worried about the ratings than what's actually going on in the show, then you just are lost. You're lost. I don't care what they put out, as long as they put out a good product. And for the most part, and I say it every week, NXT hits all the marks. And I'm going to be honest with you, at the beginning of this year, or part of last year, I didn't know how I felt about NXT. And then when Adam Cole and all them guys, they started getting momentum, and it works. Keith Lee has been the best thing about NXT over the last 3 months, 2-3 months. Matt Riddle, I know Ronnie doesn't like him. Over the last 2-3 months, he's been pretty solid. So they've been doing pretty good with NXT. AEW, look, fix your shit. I know you have potential. You have great minds in that business. Cody Rhodes is a great mind. The Young Bucks do have a mind for the business. Kenny Omega has a mind for the business. You have Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, DDP. Although I don't know how much of a real good producer or whatever DDP is.
Yoga.
That's all he's good for is DDP Yoga. Get somebody in there that knows how to fucking do women's wrestling, because I don't see it right now. And that's pretty much 2019 in a nutshell. WWE, probably one of the worst creative years. They're trying to turn the corner, but people are just going to continue to shit on it because honeymoon isn't over for AEW yet. The honeymoon was never started for me. I always go in with an open mind. Oh my God. Please God, no. You do realize, I hope you're not going to throw a little bit.
No, I stopped it. But, oh man, we should watch that though.
No, I don't.
I watched that enough for a lifetime, damn it. Unless I get a 12-pack tonight, I ain't watching it.
I mean, I'll watch it. So, any other thoughts? Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the best match of the year.
Stay off of fucking Twitter if you don't like. If you look, negativity happens. Some of it is justified, and the justifiable part is they want to be calling WWE out for shit, which the Young Bucks have done it, and I have seen it. They have called the WWE out on their bullshit, and did they get called out on their bullshit, and then they're all of a sudden leaving Twitter? Come on. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Saying of 2019.
Removing Twitter for the holidays. Yeah, I feel like the negativity for the most part, at least people are watching. I think that's what most people look past, just like, hey, if everybody's talking about us, whether it's good or bad, at least people are watching, and that's something, I guess.
And people stop ripping on Klondike Bill. The guy didn't say anything that anybody else hasn't. And he didn't tag the Young Bucks in his tweet. He put out the tweet said, well, somebody stopped the damn match, which I thought was pretty funny. They said it. But people have to go and jump on him. It's like, leave the guy alone.
Well, keep attacking the guy, but guess what? He's going to have an answer for you, and then there's people out there that support him that are going to back him. So...
Right, he hasn't left Twitter. He's on there every day. I mean, I even thought it was funny later that day or that night. He says, been off Twitter for a bit. Has anything happened?
And then it happened. So,
right.
Yeah. Bobbit, what about you? Do you have any final orders? You haven't said much.
Other than WrestleMania, this has been kind of a okay year for wrestling. I'm excited to see what next year brings.
I don't know if I'm excited to see what next year brings. And
by the way, best match of the year was Batista versus Triple H.
No,
I still stand by that.
No.
I'll stand by that till the day I pass away.
No. No, not even close.
I will make it an option, damn it.
Okay.
The way the product's been this year, I don't think they're going to do a best of this year for WWE main roster. I think it's just be NXT.
WWE hasn't done it. But yes, they are. They're doing it on Backstage.
Are they? Okay.
And it won't even be a poll. It'll just be, well, I like this match. This is the match that's going to win. So
it'll be more. It'll be less. It'll be less. It'll be less biased than the Slammies. It'll be less biased than the Slammies.
I heard you.
It's an awards show for a fake TV show. So yeah, I mean,
it is what it is. Cardinal, what about you?
Like I said, I have not been watching wrestling for like a month and a half, just reading stuff, and I find it really terrible. I just watch Wednesdays. That's all I watch. I'm more interested in NXT.
I mean, we do watch Mondays and Fridays, but I don't stream Raw and SmackDown anymore. I just stream. Well, I think I'm gonna just stream NXT.
Yeah.
Because I don't really watch Raw or SmackDown.
What's that?
And I watch them randomly. I watch Raw or SmackDown randomly.
Yeah.
I put it on fast forward if I have to.
Like I do.
On one speed.
Essentially, me and Heather just sit here and. Oh my God! You're so negative today.
You terrible. You terrible.
I am terrible. I'm a dick. What are you gonna? I'm an asshole.
Oh, congratulations, by the way, JP. The new title.
Oh my God, we got two of the biggest assholes in the world on this call. Oh shit. When assholes unite.
Yes, they do. So with that being said,
and it feels so good.
Heart's desire.
Oh, Ronnie, what about you?
I think everybody needs to stop watching WWE and get on the Impact hype train.
I'd rather eat bleach.
I'd rather
jump off a cliff.
As you see, how
group suicide
tonight.
I made this Kool-Aid for tonight.
I'm glad you mentioned Killer Kross, though, Ronnie. That was pretty cool because I think he's going to go to NXT and be with Scarlett Bordeaux. There's nowhere. I'm curious on how she's going to debut.
I think she's going to be a valet, and that's it.
Yeah, she's kind of
Killer Kross. Makes sense. I was hoping Damian Priest, to be honest.
Yeah, because he seems like a weird, liquidy rapist.
Wow, I do enjoy Damian Priest a lot. So
I do too.
He's like the wet version of Roman Reigns.
The English version of Roman Reigns with the bad teeth.
I will say I did watch Hobbs and Shaw. And Roman Reigns actually did the spear. He didn't have a talking part. He actually just did wrestling moves, and he did his spear in the movie.
It's like, do you see this weapon? He's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. When they use
this guy's going to the top.
All right. Trek, what about you? Did you already give us your...
Picture running out of cocaine.
Anything you want to add?
As far as Ronnie's going to hate Adam Cole a lot more because I think she's going to hate Riddle a lot more because I think Riddle's taking the title off Cole next year.
You're hired. Fucking
I think Finn Balor. Finn Balor.
It'll be Finn Balor.
Have you seen his cock?
Whoa. No, thank you.
Yes, you have. They focus on it.
They really put a focus on it fucking Wednesday.
Yeah.
Heather?
Really nothing else to add. Okay. If you want to have your name be part of a very public company, expect there to be some backlash when there's fucking bullshit on the TV.
Right.
Exactly.
JP's talking out like fucking Jabba the Hutt over there.
I'm playing. I got a hanging whisker and playing it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hanging hair.
I do that. So that being said,
your hair
get out of here for tonight. I want to thank Ronnie, Basement, Trek, Bobbitt, and special guest Sir Cardinal for being here tonight. Appreciate it. From one asshole to another, have a Merry Christmas.
From one asshole to another.
Christmas.
Oh my God.
Oh. Wendy.
Why do you guys hate Christmas, man?
I know.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
She's upset because you didn't ask her opinion.
There's only one thing to happen now.
All right, everybody have a great night.
Just listen to its greatness. Dude.
Go.